Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're going to be talking about pre-construction real estate projects, of course, updates, stocks, crypto, gold and silver on the rise. We have a lot to talk about right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's open mic night for everybody that's here. You know, your questions, your answers, and your contributions we greatly appreciated. And welcome. Stop struggling now. Gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back and good Friday to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And once again, I know it's Friday, just got paid, and Good Friday. Holidays could commence along with many other things. So please share the videos because you never know who's looking for something, who's not looking for anything. And then they're like, whoa, what is that? So please share the videos. Now, also, please like, share, subscribe. And if you'd like to become a member with the icon, like Laverne Penix here, well, that's how you become a member of the channel. And Laverne Penix is here. So thank you so much for being here in the SSN Nation Friday night live stream with the icon. And he brings his tagline tonight. Hello, SSN Nation. I hope everyone is doing well. I received the trailer. Hopefully the notification as well. But the trailer, at least we have one person that's seen it so far. Let me know when you come in to the live stream, because on Mondays and Fridays, live stream chat is open to everybody. And if you let me know if you received the YouTube trailer and saw the notification, or received the notification and saw the trailer. Love Victor Marrero's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream with the icon next to his name as well. And he brings his tagline, hello all, let's do this. And for a moment there, I can't let it go by, and I did. Laverne Penix is also known as Mr. Cool in these YouTube streets here. And Victor Morrell says, got the YouTube notification and saw the trailer. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. That's two people that's seen the trailer and got the notification. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but did anybody see the video I dropped earlier today on Cruise on Land is no longer the #1 project in Punta, Cana? There's a reason. Go make sure you check out that video because of their contract. Some people may like what they have in the contract, and then people like me, I don't like it. So we'll talk about that shortly. But first, before we get too deep into this tonight, I'm going to start right here because we have a lot of people that deal with gold and silver. And again, there's gold stackers, silver stackers, gold trying to reach its all-time high because nations all over the planet, guess what they're buying? They're getting their hands on gold. Currency, they want none of that. They want gold. They're changing in their currency for gold. And therefore, gold prices are increasing. But for how long and for how much? The question I have for all the gold stackers who's in the house tonight, let me ask you something. So just like I look at things as an investment, return if there is, but in gold and silver, it's no return. So all I want to know is, you bought gold when it was $1,600 an ounce. Are you now buying gold at $2,000 an ounce? Meaning every time I buy at a higher price, my dollar cost continues to rise. So ultimately, what is your end game? Because if you keep buying gold and silver and the price keeps going up, then what is gold and silver going to be used for? That's the $1,000,000 question. Now, it is a hedge against inflation, hedge against currency. But the question still remains. Once gold goes to a certain level, are you going to sell it and turn it into, oh my God, fiat? That's the $1 million question. Because it's going to hold its value against currency is a good thing. So that's why you always need a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver, platinum, palladium, any of that. Little metals, ladies and gentlemen. You need a little bit of it. I'm not really a stacker myself, but that doesn't mean you can't be. But just be cognizant of the cost that you see on the screen up here at the top. This is not the cost to acquire. Usually there's going to be a premium. Whether in the gold situation, it could be 10%, or actually it won't be 10%. It could be like 3 to 5%. Silver could be like 10% to 15%. So just give you an idea. So this 2532 is probably going to cost you almost $29 for your actual buy price from APMEX, that is. Somebody else might just do a bullion dealer, might say, okay, it's $25 an ounce. But all I'm saying is you're paying more as you buy more if the price increases. So I want to hear from the gold, silver, and special and the precious metals people that are investing in these commodities. Let me know. All right. Miracle Bros in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. And he has the icon next to his name. Thank you so much for being here once again. And he says, SSN Nation Unite. Yes, we're all here in the house and gaining. So once again, thank you, Miracle Bro. The young gun is here, making things happen. So very, very happy to see you on this Friday night, and I appreciate it. So let me know if you guys have anything to say about buying precious metals at this point. Are you buying precious metals at these prices since they have risen? Or are you still good with the precious metals that you had previously purchased? Because again, currencies are going down. There's an influx with these special deals that, like, China's trying to go around the world and make people say, hey, we'll use the yuan and we'll exchange it for you. I don't know why they're doing that, but okay. They want to do that. So people are thinking, I better buy some gold and silver just in case there's a currency war. Well, there's not going to be a currency war when you control 80 to 90% of the currency is in US dollars. Come on, let's get real. So what if you have 5%? Hey, doesn't mean anything. And the United States has lockdown. All right. You guys have to understand, the United States has lockdown. When they had the SWIFT, okay, first of all, 1800s, you weren't wiring money. All right. You wired money a different way. Then the United States took over. Europe had it for a minute. US takes over world currency. These guys say, oh, SWIFT code system, we're setting it up. Right? Routing numbers, we're setting that up. Banking around the world, we're setting the connections. Sever that connection, the world goes pretty much dark as far as trying to swap money overseas and around the world in within a matter of hours. That would be a disruption. And no other country has this setup. All right, let's just call it what it is. So the odds of some other countries being able to take over, they can trade in their own currency, but eventually they have to come back and they're going to be limited to only exchanging with their set countries. Now, when you have to deal with hundreds of countries and only 10 of them are using a different currency situation, that's not going to cut it. You're still going to have to come back and use dollars. So again, they're going to have to figure out something else and set up their own currency where they can connect around the world and set up their own banking system. So therein lies where the problem is going to come. But nonetheless, I won't get into that because tonight we're talking about assets. We're talking about pre-construction real estate updates. You guys want to know an update? Here goes an update. The beach. Haven't heard any news from the beach in a while. But today, in fact, I'm going to have to pull this up because today, what happens? These guys started upgrading. They're like, oh my God, we're going to have to do something around here. So I figured, hold on, let me see if I can find something. The beach, if I can find it, they now are going to have 4 restaurants. That's right, 4 restaurants. I know they're going to have a pharmacy. I know they're going to have a mini mart. They're going to have a spa. These guys are trying to do the damn thing now because they're going to be left behind unless, oh, wait, I think I took a picture. So they're going to be left behind. So they said, nope, we're not going to be left behind because we are definitely going to make sure it works. Here we go. All right. So everybody that owns at the beach, you already knew this part. All apartments include refrigerator, exhaust fan, stove with oven, gas, washer, and dryer. Air conditioners with inverter technology. Okay. Now, our property owners and investors will have access to incredible amenities, non-motorized water sports, of course, snack bar, jogging track, kids play zone, tennis and paddle courts, a gym, which means fitness here, restaurants. Now, the restaurants, I wish I had the actual information because that's just a little thing, but there's definitely 4. That's right. 4 restaurants, ladies and gentlemen, for sure. Just so you guys know, these guys are making waves because they had to catch everybody, right? Once they found out what other people were doing, they were like, uh-oh, we have a problem. We better start catching up because if we don't start adding some amenities and letting people know what's going on, we're not going to be able to sell anything. So it's very, very interesting. I wish I could get the info that I want, but I can't. Very, very interesting. They are making a move now to try to sell more units. I can't blame them at all. That's what they're going to have to do. But nonetheless, this is what these guys are doing. They're making waves. So 4 restaurants, spa, fitness room, check-in for guests, a lobby, mini mart, pharmacy, all on site. Now, next is the soccer field, tennis courts, barbecue. Oh, barbecue grills. Forgot about that. Now we got to wait on the tennis courts and something else. And so they'll be back in a little business. It looks like they had no choice because what they were doing was just going to be crazy. All right, let's go. All right, where do you physically store these metals? That has always been my concern. De-dollarization is real, but it will take a very long time if that was to happen. Don't think any of us will still be here. Exactly, Victor Morel. Exactly. Not going to happen. And you're right. That's part of the problem that I have with precious metals. Once you get so many pounds of it, it has to sit somewhere. I have problems with that myself. So that is one of the things. It's not like you have easy access, even though a lot of people might keep it in their home. But so what? It's still not like you can take it all with you in case of emergency. All right. Miracle Bro. Cruise on land is no longer number 1. Yeah. Sadly, no longer number 1, but that's okay. You know what that means. Larimar has moved up to number 1. Vista Cana has moved up to number 2. I haven't put anybody else. I just put the top 2 because I haven't thought about it. Cruise on land may have dropped out entirely because I don't like what they're doing. I actually have the contract still up on my computer that I can show some people so you guys can let me know what you think about it. All right. You will let me know. What type of restaurants? Are these theme restaurants? Actually, Victor Morel, they didn't say. So all they said was 4 restaurants. So again, I have no idea, but the fact that they're going to have restaurants is cool. And of course, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be all the same. So, there'll probably be some Latin flavor and American flavor. And I don't know what another 2 would be, but, I'm pretty sure they're going to have those. 4 restaurants is a big step. That's what they initially were supposed to have, along with the spa, the events room, and the pharmacy and mini mart is another thing that they claim they're adding. So we'll see what happens, but that's a good step for them. And also the penthouse unit is the model from the developer. The 4-bedroom penthouse unit is a model from the developer. And basically they are the ones selling it right now, asking $637,000. So we will find out if somebody's going to buy it because actually, since the developer is selling it, they could actually sell it under different terms. In other words, they could actually tell somebody, we'll carry the paper, we'll do whatever we can, and they can actually set the market, a la what some of these real estate companies have done. Is that's what they do. They buy one or two homes and then they overpay for the next house. So now all the homes they previously bought go up that amount of money. So it's been done before. So 637,000 is a lot. You can buy 2 penthouse units at Larimar. You can buy 2 penthouse units, maybe 3 inside Vista Cana. You can buy villas. You can do a lot of stuff. 2 villas at around 27, 28, 3,000 square feet for 637,000. You can get a lot of stuff for $637,000 and penthouse units at all projects. Just to give you an idea, yes, it's fully furnished, but so what? The white line is going to be furnished on every project. Okay, we'll say 30,000, 35, 40,000. I'll even give you 50,000 cost to get your furniture in there. Again, I don't know how you get to 637,000 for a 4-bedroom penthouse that's around 2,400 square feet. Very interesting. All right. Now, Miracle Bro, let's get into it. I did drop the video earlier today, but we're talking about pre-construction project updates. That was one of them. The other update is generally just what I'm saying here about Cruise on Land and the beach. Any other updates is none, other than congratulations to Dr. Tree is now inside Vista Cana at Sabana. Congratulations on that purchase. So we have another member of the SSN Nation who has bought at Vista Cana and at Sabana. How sweet is that? One hell of a deal, because if you guys understand how pricing and updates are going, again, downtown, it's almost collusion. 2-bedroom units downtown are going somewhere like 177,000 for pre-construction when they first come out. 1-bedrooms are going like 120. So that would indicate clearly all bedrooms, 2-bedrooms are worth 177. So if you're inside Vista Cana and you buy a 2-bedroom for 177 or less, or even if you paid 180, 190, 200, you're still in the ballpark, because they're selling downtown as well 2-bedroom penthouse units for $237,000. So if you can buy a 2-bedroom penthouse unit for $237,000 and it's inside Vista Cana, not just a condominium project, you are winning. Congratulations. All you guys are winning already, but nonetheless. All right, I'll get into a little bit of the crew. In fact, I can do it because I'll just go into it. It takes a little bit, but we'll go through it a little bit, and then I'll come back and see what we have here. Oh, that's right. I don't know which page is first. So I'll just grab a page and go from there. Here goes one of the things that is, for me, I don't like it. And this is what I showed in the video earlier today. Paragraph, whatever, of the real estate units, object of this contract, who at the time of signing acquired the standard furniture. Now, first of all, you have to, in order to be in the rental pool, which is standard everywhere, this isn't a bad thing. If you're going to be in the rental pool, you have to have bought the furniture package. All right. So that's not a bad thing. All right. That's the only people that will be qualified to sign the rental pool contract. But here's where I do have a problem. You have to be in it for a minimum of 2 years for hotel operation. That's where I have a problem. This 2-year thing. If I don't like it, I'm still going to have to be committed. They have no way out. There's no provision for if you want to get out. So basically, you're locked for 2 years since they are the seller and they're running the resort. And you say, hey, I don't want to be in it no more. they're going to say, F you. We have the keys. We can lock your ass out. So 2 years is a long time. I don't like this 2 year thing. 1 year, okay, we can live with maybe 1 year, but this 2 year thing, I don't like, but that's their thing. You're signing up for it. So I don't like that. The second part is down here. I don't like this either. Promoter, cruise on land in which will be established that the buyer will be able to rent your apartment on different virtual platforms, maintaining and respecting the rates offered by the rental pool scheme of tourist complex with a maximum variation of 10%. That means you can only charge 10% more or less. That's it. So everybody generally has to rent for the same amount. So even if I have no furniture package and I'm renting myself, I have to charge what they're charging. And keep in mind, they're charging 25%. So that's the other thing that's very interesting. I'm going to charge the same amount. Some people are going to pay 25% because that's what the management fee is. Plus, you're going to be charged up to 5% for transaction fees. Or if they go through a travel agent, well, now you start, who knows? It could be 10% you're paying on top of the 25%. You just never know. But the point is, if I'm not in the rental pool, I don't have to pay 25% for management. But in that return, they're making me stay within 10% of what they're charging. Even if my unit looks better than their units, even if my unit has an actual cool view, whatever it may be. Some people think a pool view is cool and they might charge extra for that. Actually, a lot of resorts do charge extra for pool view. They charge a little less for garden view, right? So now I have a unit that's pool view, and now they say, hey, Eric, we want you to charge the same as us. I'm like, well, then I don't have an advantage. Maybe I want to drop it like $100 less than you guys because I don't have to pay the 25% fee. They're not having it. All right. So that means everybody generally is going to be in the same ballpark for rentals. So now it's going to be who's going to be able to get the occupancy. So is the occupancy rate going to be 30%, 50%, 70%, 80%? If you have less rentals, all these units are going to be empty. And if all of you have to have the same price, then that doesn't allow you as an independent condo owner to say, you know what, I can't get this 150 per night. I want to drop it to where I can get rentals. So I'll do $80 a night or 95 a night. You don't have that luxury. So they're controlling the board. All right, just so to speak. That's one of the things I do not like. That's two things I don't like. So that just gives you an idea in itself. There's something else that doesn't really matter, but it matters, is they have the ICDV, the inflation rate, 2.5%. So that is kind of a calculation. I think I blew this. That's like a calculation based on if it moves past 2.5%, then you got to pay for it. So, oh, this isn't it. Hold on a second. I got to do some things. I got to look through something because I actually have some notes on this too. But here's the most important thing. So, in fact, I'm gonna do. This is so disgusting to me. In fact, I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna do this. Let me put this on the screen. You guys know we've went to Cruise on Land quite a lot, right? You know, we go to their website, and I just can't even believe this in reality. But we go to their website, and look at what you see here. You see 100 attractions. That's what you see here. And I was always curious why they call them attractions, right? They never use the word amenities. Here we go again, 100 attractions and entertainments. This man-made beach, this man-made, this restaurant, park, everything they're showing. the wedding venue, the bike rides, all this stuff they're showing. It looks nice, right? Uh, okay, they don't have golf there, but it looks nice. Let me see if look at this. You get to go another here, kids playground area here, walking trails, agricultural area over here, amphitheater, and all this, right? Well, we were all excited because we thought it was all included because you own at Cruise on Land. Well, no, they're treating it like somewhat of an all-inclusive place. That's not good. Now, come to find out, your building is building one. Your HOAs you're paying for is for your building and your building's amenities. Guess what it's not paying for? Everything here in the middle, everything else, all these amenities, it's not paid for. Your HOAs that you're paying is just for your building, your pool, your kids' club or your kids' pool, your snack bar, your lounge chairs, your umbrellas, your building. You, if you do not pay for the amenities fee, then you cannot use any of the amenities, apparently. That is a problem in my eyes. Maybe other people don't think it's a problem. But now, this nice little pool over here, you're going to have to pay amenities fees. This little restaurant, you're not getting in there unless you pay your amenity fees. This little lake with paddle boats, not. This is all you get right here when you buy your included. Here, you're paying monthly amenities fee. So this is not just a simple condo project. When they talk attractions, they're calling these attractions, and they plan on having an amusement park. So again, I'm not very happy about that. I don't understand. I know what some people are going to say, and some people feel that it's fine. And here is Victor Marrero. He might say that it's fine. Let's see. I understand what they want to do, maintain a minimum and maximum nightly rate standard. However, it's your unit. They should not dictate your price. See, Victor Marrero, ultimately, I understand what they want to do too. And you're right. That's the way I look at it is how you said it. However, it's your unit. They should not dictate your price. Unfortunately, it's going down. It's really, really bad. It's going down. It's all right. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I actually hit the wrong button. I hit the back button, but it was for a different screen. But never mind. We'll still get there. All right. Let me go back down here. Let me go see if I can find this again. So Victor Marrero, that's my whole thing. I don't. If you're first of all, you have to understand what you're doing in the first place. That's the problem that I have. They're putting me in a situation where they're dictating everything. I would normally, I don't have any problems with with the rules, but I do have a problem with them saying I don't really if they would have said, okay, you can rent for whatever you want, but you're going to have to pay an amenities fee. Okay, I can live with that. But now you're telling me all you get is your condo and your building, and everything else is off limits. I'm like, well, why would I live here then? I'm paying HOA fees, and you're telling me it's just for this condo. I'm like, and I live in a an amusement park, and you're telling me, sorry, Eric, I have problems with this. All right, I'm about to get to. I had to import some stuff here. Let's see. I need the 10th stanza, so this is a problem. Again, I did this today on the video, but since we're here tonight talking about real estate projects, this is why Vista Cana, they switched up. Vista Cana was doing the same type of stuff, and then they finally was like, oh man, why are we going to waste all this time trying to make sure people who live on site isn't coming to use our amenities? You understand what Cruise on Land actually is going to have some sort of people standing there looking, making sure people aren't have a wristband or whatever they're going to use for tracking. People are going to live. You could have thousands of people living there, and I guess they're just going to have some sort of entry point. I don't know. Maybe I've never seen nothing like this, quite frankly. I've been to resorts where, all inclusives, but everybody there is all inclusive. I've never been to a place where they go, you live here, and actually you see that man-made beach, you see those shops, you see those restaurants, you see those bars, and you can't use it. And you're sitting there like, it's in the middle of our complex. What are you talking? I've never seen this. That's why it's so foreign to me. It's like I can't even wrap my head around it, quite frankly. That's how crazy. I'm like in denial. Victor Moreau is saying that his Margaritaville, if you rent and you're not in the rental pool, say, then you don't have amenities. Well, I'm assuming everything's locked. Like he said, you got to check in at the front desk, so it's locked out. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. That's what I was thinking the other day. They should have a club fee like Margaritaville and allow you to use everything, just one flat rate, regardless of how big your unit is. See, Victor Marrero, that's the thing. I think over the next 2 years, I think they're going to mold this into something. It's either going to be included in your maintenance fee or HOA fees, or they're going to do one lump sum. But the problem is right now in the contract, there is no number. There's no number. That's the problem. They're telling people it's $65 per night, but we don't know that. It's not in the contract. All right. Charles is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. Thank you so much for being here with the icon next to his name. And he says, hi, money people. The emerging millionaire is in the house. He's here. So thank you so much. And me and Charles did a live stream earlier today, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. He's doing something too to help people out. Part of the SSN Nation groove. So again, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. And he's over here as well. So he says Cruise is gone from the top. Yes, it's gone from the top and it's slashed. It's a bullet going down because of the 4 or 5 different things that I just can't get over. And here's one of them. We're about to talk about it since you're here. Everybody who bought, doesn't matter where you bought, even at Cruise on Land, you're still going to be fine. It's just that I don't like the unknown. Let's just put it that way, because we don't know. So here it is in their contract where, as the buyer accepts and acknowledges the building that houses the property will have common areas for its use and enjoyment. So when I think of common areas, I'm thinking, yeah, that man-made beach is going to be awesome. Oh yeah, I can't wait till that bar and restaurant comes. But no, they're talking about the arrival lobby in your building, the reception area in your building, the bathrooms and the common areas in your building, the elevators, the stairs, the living rooms, the laundry, the snack bar, the outdoor terrace, the pool area, sunbathing area, table areas for snacks. We're sounding all good, but they're not saying the man-made beach, the other little beach. I'm like, hold on. And it also acknowledges there will be other areas and amenities. Okay, see, other areas and amenities. Notice they just said what the common areas are. None of those are amenities. Well, still none. So consisting of all areas that are not included in the common areas. See, described above, that will be owned by the seller. So the seller owns the seller owns the amenities. The developer owns the amenities. You're just a guest, ladies and gentlemen. You have to pay. And the buyer may use and enjoy under membership regime described in the protective regulations. Now, this word right here, protective regulations, there is no contract presently for protective regulations. That's another problem. We don't know what the protective regulations even are. So now people are going to be paying monthly, and all of a sudden they're going to break out another contract after this is over, talking about these are the protective regulations, which you don't even know what they are. We need a paperwork on a protective regulations. That's what we need, right? So again, not very happy. I do not like that at all. At all. Here we go. Thank you for coming to my show, bro. No problem. Anytime, man. You know, I'll help out, do anything to help you, anybody else. I appreciate you allowing me on as well. Good stuff. Yes, we were had great conversation. Dr. Tree is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. And Dr. Tree says, sorry, they should have told everyone up front what was included. Yes, Dr. Tree. And you know what's worse? Notice their website doesn't say anything. It just says 100 attractions, which people translate to 100 amenities. So they're thinking if you own there or stay there, you have all access. No, there's no indication anywhere that if you're buying a condo, you have no access. That is insane. Until you read your contract and you're sitting there like, wait, what? And Dr. Tree, congratulations. The newest member of being in Sabana, inside Vista Cana, the #2 project now, rated. And a perfect example is what happened with Vista Cana, where now they include everything, and then your project has its own clubhouse as well. So you have the best of both worlds. You stay in your complex, you go to the clubhouse, you go to the fitness, you go to the restaurant or the cafe and bar, like at Sabana, and their co-working spaces at the club, the 2 pools, and the equestrian center is still there. So it's upscale all the way around. You got to love that, ladies and gentlemen. So congratulations, Dr. Tree, on your purchase. And by the way, since you're here, what did you purchase? I know what you purchased. Now that I'm thinking about it, bottom floor, very well done. Well, that means there's a jacuzzi, I think, or a pool. I don't know which one it is, but I'm pretty sure that's included. So that's an awesome, awesome, awesome thing. All right, here we go. You will still make money, guys, but Eric doesn't want to lose control. Exactly. I don't like losing control because this does not end well. This does not, well, I shouldn't say end well. All I'm saying is whenever somebody says that I control everything, every aspect of this, you're just a guest. Even though you bought a condo, you're not an owner of anything. All you own is when you walk outside your condo or your building and you have that pools and all that stuff in your building. I don't even think I can walk next door. That's how crazy this is. That's how crazy this is. It's like, hold on a minute. So is there a barrier or something that can't allow me to go over to the man-made beach or over to the sports complex? Apparently so. Now, the amenities fee is a whole nother ball game. So Dr. Tree's here, another member of the SSN Nation. We're over 40 members. And by the way, I didn't realize it until today when my cousin called me. And he has a mattress store here in the United States. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Mattress, furniture, and all that, we're going to be having deals. I forgot all about it. So just letting you know. So when our stuff comes available at the end of 2025, at the end 2025 and all that, we'll make it happen. So anyhow, that is the regulations that I cannot deal with on this thing. This is just crazy to me. But it gets even more interesting. That's the thing with this. I just like, okay, even if I could live with just a part of what you're saying, I'm kind of like, okay. But even then, I still can't wrap my head around this amenities fee after I bought my condo, and you're telling me I can't use any of these 100 of so-called attractions unless I pay an amenities fee. Now, the amenities fee, as you notice, is not inside this contract. So 2.5 to 3 years from now, the fee could be 100, 150, 200 per month. It's open-ended. They're not committing to anything. So you don't know. So you're blind on all this. This is why when Vista Cana was always started to talk about this membership stuff, you guys know it was dropping out the top 5. We can't have this because either you own in the condominium project or housing project or you don't. The seller is going to keep all the amenities to themselves, which means they can block you at any time. That's crazy to me because when things go crazy and bad, you don't know what somebody's going to do, especially when they have a full load, when they have all this expense, all this maintenance, all this upkeep, all these employees that they have to pay. And something could happen. And now all of a sudden they're going, I'm sorry, you're limited to this usage. You're limited to that usage. You never know what's going to happen. I'm just giving you the bad stuff. I mean, it could all go well, but let's call it what it is. Now, that's not the most insidious of all. So now you know that you're going to have to pay for amenities. You also know they're going to go up. So you know your HOA is going to go up. You know the amenities fee is going to go up. Some people aren't going to pay their HOAs. Some people aren't going to pay for the amenities. So therefore, the cost has to be bared by the people that are paying. So that automatically means your stuff is going to go up. So right now, if you have a 2-bedroom at Cruise on Land, you're going to pay roughly $104. You're going to pay $200 per month if they keep it around $65. But what if they made it $100? So now you're going to pay $200 and roughly $40 per month to have access to the amenities that you rightfully should have access to in the first place. Meanwhile, everybody else, such as the guys at Vista Cana, the guys at Larimar, the guys at the beach, they're going to be paying $2 a square meter along with you. But all the amenities that they have at their complexes, you don't have to pay for. It's all included. Now, the other guys are going to say, well, Eric, we have 100 of these attractions. I'm going to say, great, good for you. If you're going to be hanging out there, you're not going to even be using those every day. It's just only going to apply to somebody that's renting. So if you plan on doing a high volume of renting, then that is the whole point. So that just means you'll just be paying the $300 per month or whatever they decide that it's going to be. I don't like it. Control is it. Like you said, George's Charles, control. That's what you mentioned, and that's what it is. All right, let's go. Let's see here. Let's go. I understand your points, but that is no different than what we have at Margaritaville. Margaritaville Operations owns all the amenities. The only thing not clear here is how much will be the access. Victor Marrero, here's the difference, though. I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, if this was Margaritaville, branded Margaritaville, nobody would have a problem because Margaritaville is a known quantity worldwide. They have a brand. So we know the situation with Margaritaville, and we also know Margaritaville is able to get 400 a night, 500 a night. We know you're going to be able to make a killing if you had Margaritaville. You're not going to mind getting a furniture package for $50,000 and being in the rental pool and getting 5 figures a month passively coming in. You're not going to care. But in this case, we're not getting 5 figures a month. I can guarantee you that. You're not going to be, I shouldn't guarantee, but $500 a month, they will. I don't think so. All right. I don't think they're going to be getting 400. I don't see how that's happening. Unless somebody has a 4-bedroom, which people could have, a 3-bedroom. I mean, it could get up there, but I just don't see it, quite frankly. But it could happen. But the point is, the person that has a 4-bedroom under this little situation they have right now, they're going to have to pay, I can't even remember what it is, 200, 240, something like that, 240, and then 270. They're going to be paying like $600 per month in amenities fee if they had a 4-bedroom and their HOA. According to the numbers they're using, and if the number is higher than $65 per room, and it's $100 per room, then somebody's going to be paying like $700 a month potentially. That's a lot of money for amenities that should be included. And Margaritaville has a water park just like these guys, but Margaritaville has a brand, an upscale brand. It's not a brand new company. So that's the difference, I feel. And that thing that's not clear means I don't want to buy something and then find out later that it's going to cost me $500, $600, $700 a month. This Florida type pricing for condo homeowners associations, just so we can have access to these amenities when I can just go live somewhere else and it's included. That's all I'm saying. So we'll see. All right, Victor Marrero, I'm so happy you don't see anything wrong with that. I was telling Eric, I see it the same as Margaritaville. As long as I make money, I'm good. Yeah, you're gonna make money, but remember. So, okay, let me start doing some things here. I don't really care what they do. We're just having conversation. I'm going to show you guys. In fact, hold on. Let me finish this up real quick while we're on screen. Let me do this real quick. If they were Margaritaville, that would make me much more happier because they have a proven track record, proven quantity. But here's the other thing that I'm just like, this is, oh, and by the way, you have 1 year warranty for the seller for defect, construction, failure of unit, object of this option, including leaks, broken floors, cracks in the wall ceiling, will be limited to a period of 1 year. Again, this is kind of standard. So that's not 1 year, 2 years kind of standard. All right. So that's not a bad thing. But I'm just saying most people have that in their contract. But the only thing I really don't like is what we talked about on Wednesday. The right of first refusal by the property. I own my condo and I want to sell it. I got to give it to them first. I don't like that. And I got to wait 60 days after I tell them I want to sell it. Now they got 60 days to decide. My buyer's going to wait around. I don't know. I doubt it. And then to add insult to injury, if they don't exercise their right, then they're saying they want the information, the name, identity document, and address of the potential acquirer. So they can actually tell somebody that they can't move in here, or they can give them their blessings. Or I go nefarious, I go bad guy route, or we'll just contact them directly and tell them that we have a unit over here that's going to cost less. Because we already now know how much you're going to sell it for. Kind of like what Amazon, eBay does when they're sellers and they're making a hella good sales. And then they say, oh, this guy's making hella good sales. Let me go find out who they're getting it from. Then they go get it exactly from those people. Then they move that person to another page and put up their Amazon product on the first page. So now they get all the sales. So I'm just saying, not that it's going to happen, but it leaves the door open for this kind of activity when they're actually regulating everything. So in other words, you don't own any aspect of this. You can't sell it whenever you want. You can't rent it for whatever you want. You can't even use the amenities on site unless you pay an amenities fee. So I like none of that part. I'm not party to none of that. For me personally, that's like a no-go. I just don't like it because I don't know what my expenses are going to be. I can't even guess. I know $2 a square foot first year. It's probably going to go up the next year another 2-3%, right? But nonetheless, that's easy. But what you don't know is how much is the amenities fees going to go up every year, and how much will other people continue to pay or not pay for the amenities fee. And every time a person withdraws from paying for the amenities fee, that means the cost is going to be borne upon the other homeowner that is going to pay. So there's no way to make sure that it's going to stay down. That's all I'm saying. All right, here we are with Dr. Tree. I bought that in Sabana. I met with Nestor this week, but Sabana is saying that you must use their rental company. Yeeks. I hate that. See, here we go. Another contract, and it's starting to filter through. Um, hold on. Is that what their contract says? What do you plan on doing? Are you going to rent it out? Because that's like no-go zones. I don't want to hear this. If you have to use their rental company, of course, they're upscale. They're trying to keep it upscale. Of course, of course, of course. But again, it's up to you. But again, I don't like it. Why am I going to do that? That makes no sense. Maybe everybody's trying to do this now because this is the second time I've heard about this. Other thing not clear is that it says the seller. What happens when all units are sold and the HOA is transferred to the owners is the seller is still be there handling operations, not happening. Victor Marrero, the way the contract reads, the seller owns all amenities. They're not giving it up, which is interesting. So that means the HOA for your building, I don't even know how that's going to work. It looks like you might be able to have HOA for your building, but you have no control over the amenities section. That goes to the sellers keeping it. So all you're getting as a condo owner is your unit in that building. Building 1, condo owner. That's it. Building 2, that's a separate condo. And actually, it doesn't even say I can go to the other building, quite frankly. So you have only access to your building, your amenities. The building number 2, that's somebody else's problem. That's their HOA. So it looks like if there's 12 buildings, 12 different HOAs. That's what it looks like to me, because you're not commingling. You're not saying all 12 buildings and everybody gets to go to everybody's pool area. And why would you do that anyhow? All the pool areas and everything's the same. The only place you want to go to is that man-made beach or the little shopping area or the little areas, the volleyball courts or the basketball courts, or that's all you're going to be doing. You're not going to care about going to somebody else's complex when the complexes match and they're exactly the same. So it's almost like if you're at Margaritaville and one cottage section is different than another cottage section. That's not how it works. So that's all I'm saying. It's kind of weird. I don't like none of this. Sabana now talking about Dr. Tree. Is this going to deter you from doing business at Sabana? Let me know. It looks like this could be a trend. This could be a trend, ladies and gentlemen. So check your contracts. This wasn't in previous contracts. So they're trying to lock things up at these properties, apparently, that have these amenities and doing rentals. It's going to be very, very interesting what's going to happen, because ultimately, if you got to use their rental companies, does that also mean I got to buy their furniture package? That's what this is akin to. I don't like it. All right. What happens when all units are sold? Yeah, Victor Morrell, see, you're going down this path that I already know what's coming. It's not going to be good. They're going to control the board. They're going to control how much you're going to pay for the HOAs. So again, when that guy 2 months ago said timeshare, that's what this is to me. It's just acting just like it. They're going to control the board. So your HOA fees and the amenity fees, you'll never know what they are year to year. They're going to go up. You're going to walk around and be like a little kind of like irritated if things don't look like they should, because you don't have any say. You're just sending in checks. You're barking up the right tree, Victor Marrero. Again, I've been down this path before with timeshares, condos, hotels. This is their playbook. You have no control. They send you your maintenance fee bill, HOA bill, and you're sitting there looking at it like, hey, this went up like 20%. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. And if you don't pay it, you know what they do? They'll try to do a foreclosure to try and take your unit from you, or make you sell it, or do something when they have right of first refusal. How does that work? All I'm saying is I've been down this path, seen this all play out before, and I don't like it. Now, if it's upscale and they're actually able to do high rental rates like a Margaritaville, then everything we're saying and I'm talking about is a moot point, because everybody's going to pay, everybody's making money. So nobody's going to sit there and say, okay, I'm not going to do this, or I don't care. The majority of people are going to be happy and they're rolling with it. But if it goes the other way, where it's just mediocre money making and it's cool, it's a nice complex, and nothing's really happening for the owners, well, then they're going to be making their money off of the people that come to visit their 100 attractions. They don't need you. That's the thing. They don't need you. They're open to the general public who's paying to get into their attractions, and you're paying to get into their attractions. If you don't want to pay to get into their attractions, so what to them? We're open to the general public in Punta Cana. They can come and use your amenities. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it. You're paying for the condo. That should be your amenities. I don't know what this thing is about. I'm just blown away. That's all. I can't wrap my head around it. At Victor Morel, does what Margaritaville do stop you from making money? No, he makes 5 figures. But again, he does 80 to 90%. They're Margaritaville. They're 80 to 90%. He was booked up one year like 9 months in advance. So if Cruise on Land has 9 months in advance of rentals and they're doing like 93, 95%, then it won't matter unless, again, it's a fine balance. They're charging $400 or $500 a night. Cruise on Land, if they charge $150 a night and you got to pay $700 a month, that changes the whole ball game. Plus the electronics fee, and travel agents get paid 10%. You're not going to be making that much. So you have to be in the $400 or $500 a night range, 90%. Next thing you know, you'll have 5 figures of profits. But again, in order to get to there, I don't know if Cruise on Land will reach that. There is no other Cruise on Land. It does have cool stuff. I got to admit that, but I don't see how it matters. I don't see how it's not, he doesn't rent it himself. He's in the rental pool. The rental pool is making him a hell of a lot of money. A hell of a lot of money. Dr. Tree, congrats. What did you get in Sabana? She got a condo, bottom floor, but is it a 2-bedroom? Miracle Bro, met with Nicole from Cruise, meeting with Gwen next, then Larimar. So far, I think Larimar is better for me. Yeah. Hey, everybody has their own way of looking at things. So again, some of this may not phase anybody. People may be fine with it because they're thinking Cruise on Land has all these amenities. I'll pay the amenities fee and then I'll rent it out at a high clip. Again, this is all new. There's no way anybody right now could tell any one of us. I can't tell. Victor Morel can't tell. The tourism department can't tell. The hotel industry can't tell. Nobody can tell you what the occupancy rate will be at any time in the next 5 years. We all have the same numbers of tourists coming in, but there's no way we can translate that into who's going to stay in condos, who's going to stay in villas, and which condominium project are they going to pick and why. We don't have any clue. We can go by the numbers. So we know 8 million, we'll call it 9 million people are going to be coming in 2025. We know this, but we don't know per project what the occupancy rate is. So we're thinking Vista Cana should be cool. The beach is apparently maybe getting their act together. Maybe they'd be cool. Downtown Punta Cana is going to be cool. You're thinking Larimar is going to be cool. Cruise on Land is going to be cool. Primavera is going to be good. You're thinking those hot spots that are close to downtown, they're going to be fine. But will that generate 80% occupancy? Will that generate 85% occupancy? Well, we don't know. Kathmandu Parks is there, but it's like, that's not even a thing right now. I don't know what that is. So there's going to be so many other things coming in, including more accommodations downtown. So keep all this in mind. So we have no idea. If they do 50%, 40%, see, that's what I'm afraid of. The first year, you're in phase 1, only 2 to 4 buildings are in this whole big complex that's going to be built. Some of the amenities are there, not all. So now your first year, what, are you going to do 25, 30, 40% rentals? We don't know. And if you do, now all of a sudden you're sitting there going, okay, 10 days a month, $1,000. And then you're sitting there like, well, actually, you won't even make that if it's 120 or 150 a night. All of a sudden now you're sitting there going, okay, I got $1,500 for 10 nights. And then you find out you owe like $400. And now you find out 25% of that 1,500 went to the house. So now you're down to 12 or 1100. And now you're sitting there going, okay. And then they take off that 10% fee for merchants and all that processing. They pay the travel agency or whatever. Next thing you know, you're under 1,000 and you owe 600 or 700. You're not going to be very happy. So all I'm trying to say is set yourself up for success from the get-go and not have these open-ended things. Because if they came back and said, oh, Eric, you know what? Instead of $65 per room, it's $100 per room. And then your HOAs, instead of $2 a square foot, it's $3 a square foot. Now all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, that's $600 a month, $700 a month. This month I netted $900. Next month I might have netted less than that. You're not going to be very happy. You might say, okay, don't worry, we're going to build out, we'll be fine later. Yes, this is true. But all I'm saying is we want to try to win from the get-go. We don't want to sit there and have to feed the beast at all if it's avoidable. But Miracle Bro making moves. And oh, by the way, Miracle Bro, you know, Cruise on Land. Okay, everybody, Cruise on Land, the price went up. All right, just keep that in mind. It went up in April. And it already went up. I saw the numbers. And Larimar, the prices went up as well. But if you're in Tower 4, you can still get 2022 pricing. But I'm pretty sure that's going to, after this weekend is Holy Week. Next week, a little activity is going to happen. Gwen was leaving for a vacation yesterday. He has 2 deals sitting on his desk. This is how fast. I don't know what tower they were in or anything. He just said 2 deals before he left on vacation. 2 of those are going to go down. So this is giving you an idea. There's only 138 units per building. As soon as they get up to 40 or 50 units, they start raising prices. All right. So just letting you know. And the price is 2.5% every 3 months at Larimar. And Cruise on Land is probably going to start raising their prices too, because they're 2 bedrooms unfurnished. They're not at the average price is what I'm calling it, not from what they're calling it. But my point is 177, 2 bedroom unfurnished. That's the average price just for a 2 bedroom, like downtown, inside Vista Cana, inside anywhere else. Larimar, it should be 177 based on downtown pricing. 180, 190, or even 200 if you have things like in Vista Cana. So anybody that's able to get units for $200,000 and live and have a place like inside Vista Cana, the beach, Primavera, or Larimar, Cruise on Land, you're doing good. Now, just keep in mind, though, Vista Cana, Larimar, those 2 projects, as long as you don't pay for amenities, you're still paying the $2 a square foot, and all the amenities are included. $2 a square meter, $2 a square meter. And the all the amenities are included. So that little extra, whether it's 130 or 200 a month, no other complex has to pay that right now. Amenities are included. They're not set up like an amusement park anyhow, so it's not going to happen. But anyhow, so far, and I'm going to be going over the contract also. George's Charles, they don't dictate the price of the owners renting on their own. See, there you go. That's major to me. So I would be happy, and this is one of the things at Margaritaville, I would be happy. That's the difference. If they said, okay, Eric, you don't want to pay for the amenities here, then okay, that's fine. But now I just rent. I know you guys are going to charge $400 or $500 per night, but I'm just going to charge $300 per night. At Cruise on Land, they won't allow me to charge $300 per night. I got to charge 10% less than a fully furnished unit with the furniture package with all the amenities. That's not even going to be anywhere near fair. So therefore, I'm going to lose out. So how many people are going to be in the rental pool, and the only way you can be in the rental pool is full-blown package. Remember, every other building has a furniture package included. So what does that mean? I think that means if a person's going to get the furniture package, they'll just buy one in the furniture package building. Why would I buy one in building 1, let's say, that's unfurnished, then pay these guys 25 grand or more for the furniture package when I can just be in building 2 that includes the furniture package with whatever price it is. So it's kind of weird. So that means a certain scenario, meaning there's only half of the buildings on average can even rent out using their rental pool. And I don't think everybody's going to rent out. So let's call it what it is. Some people might live there. But anyhow, I'm going in a little tangent. Miracle Bro, Lamar, definitely a good one. I still think can't go wrong, but Eric is a good dude. He wants you to know all the info. Yep, that's all it is. Everybody can buy whatever they want, but you got to know what you're getting into. And if it works out for you, it's not just everything is the apples aren't apples. Larimar is not Cruise on Land. Cruise on Land is not Vista Cana. Vista Cana is none of those. Downtown Punta Cana buying is different than all those. Cana Rock is different than all those. Primavera villas and condos and their amenities, all different as well. So it all depends on what you're trying to do. Because if you want a management company and you plan on renting and you don't mind the rental company renting it, so be it. Like I say, at Larimar or any place else, I might ultimately have a rental company. So it would be the same thing. 25% is generally what it's going for right now. So if there's a high occupancy rate, of course I would have a set it and forget it. So the rental company part's easy. But the thing is, when my guests arrive, I don't want any having to choose something. Either they're using the amenities or they're not. That's it. I don't want, and I really don't like my guests arriving and then they find out and they're seeing things like water parks and man-made beaches and all this. And then the next thing you know that, yeah, I agreed to no amenities. I know I don't get amenities, but after you get there, it's like, yeah, I want to do this. Can you change it? And then it's like, wait, now you're going to have to pay for the amenities fee. Yes, it's for the full month. But now just because that one guy, yeah, you might pay it included in the rental price or whatever. But I'm just saying, I don't even want, it's so much easier when you just tell a person, here's the price and you have everything included. That's all. If I can do that, I'm more happier. I'm going to give you guys something to think about too. Here's what, this has nothing to do with any Larimar or anything, but this has to do with rentals. All right. This has to do with real estate projects and all that. So I, at phoenixrentalhomes.com, I have listings there. So that's Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale, places like that, Mesa, Tempe areas. So it's open public. And oh, by the way, okay, I won't get into something else. But anyhow, that's a website that only certain people even will find or know about. They hit you up. Everybody on there. Everybody. Because most people own their own condos and homes. They have to tell people, here's the rate. Here's the housekeeping fee. Here's a fee for the electricity. Here's a fee for house cleaning on your departure. They're charging people all these extra fees. I turn around and I just say, here's the price. It includes midweek housekeeping and it includes housekeeping upon departure. Why? You guys stayed at a hotel before or a resort. You know, if you stay there 7 days, that somebody's coming to usually give you towels or something at least 2 or 3 days in or somewhere like that. Take the garbage out, swap out towels and whatever else you need, right? That's on the house. I don't have to pay anything. So my price is actually the same price as theirs, but my stuff is included, so my profit margin is higher. So I just tell them housekeeping's included, house cleaning on departure's included, taxes are included. Meanwhile, my counterparts have to collect taxes because they have to sign up for the state or the city under the regulations. So they're getting taxed 7%, 6%. They're having to hire somebody to do the house cleaning or maid service midweeks if people stay. All this stuff they have to do, I don't have to arrange jack crap. So that's the difference. If you had a rental management company, you don't have to arrange anything either. But what I'm trying to say is my price, I get all the profit that these guys don't get. So if they're paying a management company 25%, I get 25% more than them. If they're paying to have all these other fees and all this stuff done and they're charging the other person more, think about it. If somebody tells you it's $400 per night, includes everything, and you know your competitors are charging these people not only $400 a night, but now they're charging them $75 for housekeeping. For midweek, somebody come over to housekeep while you're there. Then on departure, you're charging another $75 for cleaning up the place after you leave. Now they're charging them $550. Then they're charging them some tax stuff or whatever. Next thing you know, they're charging $600. I'm still charging $400, $500, but guess what? I get to keep all of it. That's the difference. That's significant when you start going 1 rental, 2 rentals, 10 rentals, 20 rentals. So I get to keep more money than they'll ever keep. That's the difference. And people are going to book with me more. Why? Because they're charging way more than me. And people are like, wait, this is like at the same place, same type area. What's going on? I'm like, hey, all my stuff's included. Yeah, that's it. All my stuff's included. So I don't have to raise my price. So that's the difference, is that's why in my head, I can't wrap my head around people saying I'm going to pay extra for stuff, because every time you do that, money may be coming out of your pocket. What lawyer do you use, Eric? Punta Cana. Johan Confidante. That is the man. Now, Johan Confidante. Here's his WhatsApp. That's the man. Let me see. Johan. His WhatsApp is, I'll give you the phone number. It's 1. I'll put it in chat too. So we're going to do Johan Confidante, right? Johan Confidante. 1 plus 1 809 757 1573. WhatsApp. I put it in chat right now. Let them know you're from SSN Nation. Eric sent you over, and he'll know what time it is with that. He'll be appreciative of that. Let him know you're from Stop Struggling Now. Tell him Eric said you're the man. He knows he's the man, though. He's busy. So contact him. In fact, you might have to leave a couple of messages because he's very busy. Usually has his assistants handling things at this point. He's one of the top lawyers in all of the DR. So thank you for asking, Dr. Tree, but that's the man right there. All right. Vanessa Comagate is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream with the icon next to her name. And she says, hey, boss and SSN fam, happy Good Friday. And Dr. Tree, let us know. I know you got bottom unit. So what did you get? 2-bedroom? I think, yeah, you have to get a 2-bedroom, right? 2-bedroom, bottom unit. Does that include a pool, jacuzzi? I can't remember what it included, but it's Sabana, so that's pretty sweet. Vanessa Comagate is here with the icon, and she says, hey, boss and SSN fam, happy Good Friday. Happy Good Friday to you as well. She has the icon next to her name, and she's also known here in these parts as Seamless Genius. That's right. Seamless Genius is in the house. Victor, I heard they are filming Jersey Shore at Margaritaville. There we go. Oh, my goodness, Victor Morrell. Activity. Chili Davis is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. Thank you so much for being here. And he is Chili Davis in the YouTube streets. So go check out his channel. He's part of the SSN Nation, and he helps people with financial literacy and information. So go show some love by subscribing. We got to get him up to 1,000 because I'm pretty sure he should be approaching the 4,000 watch hours. So we need 1,000 subs. So help him out. Go over there and subscribe, please. That'd be greatly appreciated. So you can always find him at Chili Davis on YouTube. They started letting you search with the @ sign. The Amazon clause, leaving that door open. Exactly, Chili Davis. That's how they like to do it. And anybody that's devilish enough to do this, Again, I think nefariously. That means they're going to have you by the throat eventually. And it's in their see, here's my thing. You guys have to understand. I don't think anything is just by accident. When somebody starts restricting you and you're paying for the unit, right? By you paying for your condo, you're actually paying for the project to even be built by rights. If that's the way I look at it, right? You're paying for more than just a condo. You're helping them build this project. They're sitting there saying, we have right of first refusal. We can dictate how much you're going to rent. We can dictate who you can sell to because we got the right to approve or disapprove of your buyer. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to have people that are going to find themselves in situations brought on by management, in my opinion. So after you help them build a place, all of a sudden, they're going to say, no, you can't sell. You're going to be saying, hey, I have medical condition. I can't sell. I'm a little older now. You know what? I need to get out of this thing. And they're going to say, well, I'm sorry about that, but the price that you're selling it for, no go. So now they make you sell at a lower price to them because, of course, the right of first refusal means if there's a lower price, they're going to buy it. Now they have another unit that they're putting in the rental pool. They don't need you. All these units that they're building, they don't need you. They're building an amusement park, 100 attractions. They need you to pay the upfront cost. That's the way I look at it. That's what they're doing. And ultimately, they could actually own all of the units. Why didn't they just build all the freaking units themselves? If they're worried about how much the rent's going to be, if they're worried about who's going to own there. See, I start getting a little irritated because I'm like, well, build it yourself. You can dictate to yourself how much you're going to rent it for. You can pay for the whole damn thing. You go buy all the damn furniture yourself and put it up. See me on the other side. Meanwhile, I'm going over here. I'm not even going to deal with you. That's the way I look at it. See, I'm a little different the way I view things because I don't, a closed system means that they have all the power. They're going to tell you exactly where you can go, what you can rent for, who you can sell to. And that means ultimately they can say, I'm going to tell you guys something. Devil in the details of the contract. Exactly. I'm going to give you guys a perfect example. It seems like everywhere they want control. Exactly. Well, okay. Yeah, people want control, but this thing that's going on out at Cruise on Land is beyond control. They probably want to be mindful who rents there. It will be high class in Sabana. I don't blame them. Yeah, Sabana, I can understand. First of all, I'm not so mad when somebody says, oh, well, if you're going to rent, you're going to have to use our company. Okay. You have a choice to buy there if you know it. See, Dr. Tree knows it already, though. It's not like somebody has a website up talking about you have 100 amenities, then you find out in fine print that those amenities you don't even have access to them unless you pay a maintenance fee. That's a whole different ballgame. They have nowhere on anything that says you have to pay for the amenities. They're acting like these 100 attractions are included. So most people who are buying there think it's included until they read their contract very, very carefully. And the way the wording is now that, it could slide by because you're thinking, oh, okay, no biggie. I want to buy this place. So, okay. So all I'm saying is it's not going to be a pretty sight the way I look at it. I just don't see how this ends like that. I'm like, you guys build this stuff by yourself then. You don't need my money then. You don't need me here. I'm just helping you for what? I get no benefit by buying a unit there. That's the way I look at it. Now, that's the way I look at it. But I have no problem. She knows up front that if she rents, she's going to have to go through their rental company. So now she can say, I don't want to buy there or I'm going to buy there. And if she's going to rent it, look, let's just call it what it is. If the Sabana is one of these things that is inside Vista Cana and all the amenities are included. So I won't have a problem if somebody in Vista Cana goes, hey, Eric, it's 25% rental and you got to use our rental company. I'm going to be fine. I'll probably use them because I think the odds of renting is a lot higher when everything's included anyhow. And it doesn't cost me. Doesn't cost me any additional. So it's a catch-22. Now, I would look at Sabana like, okay, that's nice. But no. If I'm, myself, I look things differently. Now, I'm going to give you guys a story. They're putting the hammer down. If it make you feel better, the contract I signed in Orlando is 80% benefiting the brand. Are you aware of other contracts? These owners talk. I am worried now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have all the contracts, man. But no, okay. The only contract that says anything like right of first refusal, that's not on any contract. There is no contract talking about we're going to approve who the buyer is. None of that is in any contract. No contract even had rental price restrictions. Never seen any of that. That's the only contract I've ever seen. There are contracts that say we want to be the rental company type of thing. Okay. That's kind of, I've seen that. There's been things like saying, but this little situation with Cruise on Land, nobody has that contract. Not one. Nobody. So they have too many restrictions, or they have 4 bones I have to contend. And the thing about no amenities, that's also another thing too. What project right now has you have to pay for amenities? That's the thing. Now, Cana Rock, yes. But, okay, they have a fitness center and a restaurant and a pool and a snack bar pool area. Okay. That's the same thing that they have inside Cruise on Land. Then you got to pay to go out to the beach, like I said. That's it with the amenities, though. They're not claiming you got 50 amenities. They're not claiming they have 10. So it is what it is. So that's different. But all I'm saying is I can live at Primaveros. I can live any project. Downtown projects now, I don't have to pay extra, and I have restaurant, bar, kid splash area, the Royal Luxury. I mean, that's all I'm saying. It's just like it's crazy to me. It makes my head spin. Here's a thing for you. Blue Green, Club La Pension. I own townhouses upstairs. There's only 4 in the building. All right. So I go over to stay during Mardi Gras one time. And so, of course, they're like, come on over here. We got to talk to you about we want you to come here. So you know what they said? They wanted my townhouse units. I haven't seen Sabana yet. I wonder how it compares to Larimar. Sabana is inside Miracle Bro. Sabana is inside Vista Cana. All right. So Vista Cana is now the number 2 project. Vista Cana, Man-Made Beach 1, Yak Restaurant, Bar, and Lounge is there. The Vista Cana Beach Club is there. The lake next to it is the fishing lake with the fishing club on its own island. That's there already. That's all included for everybody. All right. The second man-made beach is going to be bigger than the first. And the sports complex, which has a sports bar, restaurant, soccer field, skateboard parks, and all that, is included. And Sabana itself has an equestrian center. And now they added a clubhouse inside Sabana. So all of that is included for your purchase price. Well, the equestrian center is going to cost you if you're trying to go horseback riding or something like that. But all I'm saying is the equestrian center means you're in an upscale environment. So people are going to pay more for whoever lives there. So your appreciation on your value at Sabana is going to go up higher than most places inside Vista Cana. They've already happened. People here, Nadine, if she ever comes back again, will tell you, I believe she bought her villa for in the 200,000s. They're selling that same villa now. The cheapest villa is like 435,000. That just gives you an idea, the appreciation already. She's basically doubled her money, equity-wise. And they haven't even got anywhere near building her unit yet. So I'm just saying, this is why upscale areas appreciate faster than lower tier areas. So that's why I like Larimar, because as far as I know, that's more upscale and luxury. And also Vista Cana has a tinge of luxury because some of their projects are luxury, and then they have upscale, and then like Sabana is going to be upscale and luxury. Aquarellas, and there's a couple of villa projects that are going to be upscale and luxury. Then you just have regular condos. So they have a mix, which is fine. But the gated communities, hey, Sabana's gated. The only way you're getting in there is an owner or guest to go to your equestrian center lessons or whatever. So these are the things. So anyhow, Club La Pension calls me in, says, "Hey, Eric, we got to talk to you because you got a couple of these townhomes up here." I said, "Okay." So I goes to a meeting. These guys, they have it's a timeshare condo hotel, right? So it's a timeshare situation. They go, "Eric, we'll give you all these points, a ton of points, because you have deeded weeks at the townhouses." And there's only 3 or 4 in the building. I said, "Yeah, I'm never giving them up." He says, "Well, we're going to give you all these points." I mean, it was off the charts. It was so many points, it was making my head spin. They go, "And we won't charge you anything, nothing to transfer, nothing, as long as you give us your those weeks." I said, "Why would I do that?" He goes, "Why? Because you got all these points. You'll be able to make reservations. You can go all these, all this." I said, "You know what?" I said, don't. I said, I'm in the business of doing this stuff. I said, "You know what you're saying is actually a lie." I said, "Break out the laptop right now and let's try to make reservations, not only right now for Mardi Gras, nothing will be available." I said, "Why don't we go a year out from now for next Mardi Gras? And I guarantee you, you can't find anything available on the point system." So he breaks out his computer. He starts looking it up. He's like, "Oh, damn." I said, "See?" I said, "Okay, let's go look at Orlando, the Fountains Resort. Let's go see December 20th through the 27th. Let's go see December 27th over New Year's. Let's go see if that's available." Now, remember, we're in March. He starts looking around. He's like, "That's not available either." I said, "I know." I said, "That's the problem with points. Everybody has points and you don't separate it. So everybody that's in the point system can make reservations for the hot dates." I said, "Now, when you have deeded weeks, they're not hot dates because everybody owns a set week. It's not commingled." So then he says, "So you're not going to really give this to us, are you?" So you know what he said to me? He says, "Eric, you might as well just give it to us now, because if a boiler room goes out or a boiler goes out, we're going to have special assessments. And quite frankly, we can make the special assessments anything we want. So you can either give it to us now or you can give it to us later." I was just like, "You really going to?" I said, you guys really this dirty?" And he just starts looking at me straight up. He's like, "Yeah, mess around and find out." I was like, "Man, you just taught me a valuable lesson about you sorry guys." I was pissed. He was literally telling me how he was going to snake away people's units by whenever there's a situation that occurs, they're going to charge people special monies, assessments, HOAs, maintenance fees, overcharge, knowing full well people can't pay. Then they're going to foreclose and take them. That's what he said. I couldn't believe it. Straight out. The wife was there too. Witnesses were there. He straight up said it. I was like, "You really said this?" He's like, "Yeah, because we really do this." I was like, damn. He was so pissed off that I wouldn't give it to him. And even after that, I still said, "F you, I'm not giving it to you." I said, "Now, if you give me an offer I really can't refuse monetarily, now call me up later. Meanwhile, I got to go to Mardi Gras. See you later." They're putting the hammer down. Talk. Yeah, exactly, Victor Morrell. I haven't seen Sabana yet. I wonder. Okay, hold on. I got some Sabana for you. Vanessa Accommodate at Victor Morrell. Yes, you got it. They sent me pictures and video today. Damn, I wish I had known that pool bar was jumping earlier. Yep, there you go, Victor Morrell. See, Margaritaville's doing the damn thing. Miguel, Army retired veterans in the house. Another Punta Cana real estate magnate is here with the icon next to his name. Welcome again to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream, Miguel. God bless SSN family. Thank you so much. God bless you and your family, and happily a good Friday. Hopefully, got the notification and trailer. That's up to 5 people tonight that let me know. Thank you so much for that. George's Charles, Dr. Tree, I know I want high-end clients. It's just going in blind with ROI and no control if I do short-term rental. So, Dr. Tree, here's the key, though. What does the contract say with regard? So how long do you have to go with them? Or are you saying that if you do any short-term rentals that you have to go through that company? Is that what you're saying? And what are the terms? Are they 25%? And you're saying you can't rent yourself. Is that what you're saying? Let me know. In fact, I don't have a Sabana contract. That reminds me, I need one. I'm gonna have to get one so I can read through it. For planning purposes, the occupancy rate that I have always planned for as worst case is approximately 10 to 15% below any 4 or 5-star resort do. Victor Morrell, what is the see? Victor Morrell at Margaritaville, he has this thing that we all want. As far as I can tell, over the last year, 2 years, Victor Morrell's had over 80% occupancy. On average, I think, because sometimes he had damn near 97% occupancy at one point. And even when somebody canceled, they'd be able to refill because that's how crowded and busy they are. It's crazy. It's real crazy. So what are you talking about with real numbers? Are you talking about like, because you're in the high 80s, 90s. So are you talking about 65%? 65% to 70 to 80%? Are you talking about 85 to 70%? What is your range? Because all those are good numbers, right? We like 70%. We like 80%. Those are good numbers. Even 65% that they're using conservatively is a good number. So that's going to be very interesting. That would be interesting to see. Just clarifying, they said I can do long-term rentals 6 months or more in Sabana, but short-term is mandatory to use their rental company. Interesting. Very interesting. What is the rate? Are they charging 25%, 30%, 35%? Let us know if you know. Andy O is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. And he has the icon next to his name as well. What's up, everybody? What's up with you too, Andy O? Very happy to see you once again tonight. Much appreciated. Dr. Tree, did they tell you how much they plan to rent the unit for? Yeah, I don't know how they would know, but it is what it is. Dr. Tree, you're the hot topic tonight. How much was the condo and what size unit was the condo? Dr. Tree, good thinking. Are you using their management or are you going to manage it yourself? That's the thing. I think she's saying, but short term is mandatory. Yeah, they're saying that you have to use their rental company, which is very interesting. I don't like restrictions, period. I mean, let's just call it what it is. But again, it's high end, it's upscale, it's dicey. I mean, I'm not really that mad, but you know, Dr. Tree, good thinking. Are you using their management or are you going to manage it yourself? It looks like it's mandatory. She has to use Victor Morrell. He just said he will have to use their management. He may not have a choice, I think. No, there's no choice. Miracle Bro, Sabana cannot compare to Larimar. Not even close, bro. Sabana is inside Vista Cana. So again, Vista Cana has a location closer to downtown Punta Cana, which everybody loves, and it's an equestrian center, which is upscale. So I'm not putting anything past Sabana and Vista Cana. I love what they're doing over there. And by the way, George's Charles, you know they're going to have a shopping center. Well, I don't know. I saw some papers. They're going to they had stuff blurred out for a water park inside Vista Cana, and they also had blurred out a commercial, not the mall at the beginning of the complex, but a mall inside Vista, not a mall, but a shopping center inside Vista Cana called Commercial Zone. In fact, funny enough, it's over by Savannah. Imagine that. So they plan on adding some other things there. I saw the map. And so this changes things entirely. Now, we all know if there's an actual full-blown water park, it's probably not going to be free. But all I'm saying is they might have a water park in their spot too, and they're going to have shopping centers in their spot too. So that's going to be very interesting. These guys are all upgrading, and why not? He who has the land can do whatever they want. And Cruise on Land, Larimar, and Vista Cana, they have land. One of the few places that is cordoned off, blocked off, where they have a lot of acreage. So they can actually change things on the fly. And that looks like what Vista Cana is doing, because remember, they were supposed to have an 18-hole championship golf course. And that doesn't appear to be happening. So that 18-hole golf course, all that acreage is free. So it's going to be very interesting what's going to happen. All right. Miracle Bro, George's Charles. What about Vista Cana and Larimar? Miracle Bro, Sabana is inside Vista Cana. All right. So some people may not really know. I think I have something here. Let me go show you guys some things. Let me see if I have something. Let's see. Cruise on Land, Veterans, Panorama. What is that? I don't know what that is. I'm going to play something here. I thought I had Savannah, but it doesn't appear I do. I thought I had their video. All right. How long we been doing this? We've been over an hour. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know what Panorama Luxury Clubhouse. Oh, let's go see what this is real quick. There you go. That gives you a little idea, Miracle Bro. That is actually the clubhouse, and it's out there at the fishing island, fishing club island. That's what's there. Now, the fishing club actually does cost money to be a part of, but that island actually has, you saw, there was out there cooking and whatever makeshift. But that's what's going to end up happening. And the clubhouse is where that boat left from. There's going to be a little pool area there, a little cafe, restaurant, bar at the clubhouse. That's free. That's included, that area. So at one time, it was going to have to be a pay per, but they changed it. They said, no. Everybody that lives here, free access. So no membership. And they're going to have a second one at the second man-made beach is also going to have it's called the Vista Cana Clubhouse. That'll have a little cafe, bar, a pool on the water as well. And these are salt water, by the way. They're pumping in ocean water. So it's salt water in there. So that's very interesting as well. So that's pretty cool. All right. So hopefully that helps you out. And again, I'll do this for you. All right. We'll do this since Sabana is on top of the list because of Dr. Tree going in on Sabana. I'm not mad at you. So I do have something here. Let me see if I can pull this up. as I'm scrolling by. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to do some things to help people out in case you're interested in Sabana. It's inside Vista Cana. So you got to show some love, right? Let's go. Whoa, we got a lot of things going on here. All right, let's see. Miracle Bro. Okay. Dr. Tree, I see I missed your earlier note. 6-month rentals are normally snowbirds from USA and Canada, based on my experience. Very doable. That's very true. Victor Morel's on point once again with this. FYI, Project Core in Cap Cana also said it's mandatory to use their rental company, also 20 to 30%. Yeah, this seems to be a theme that's happening throughout right now. None of this is in previous contracts. I know that. All right, Milko Bro. I own 4 properties: Cruz, Larimar, Vista Cana, Primavera Fort. Depends your preference. Each has their strengths. Exactly. Exactly. Eric, I wouldn't be surprised if everywhere is going to try and have you use their managers. I agree. I agree. Okay. Actually, no, I don't. Okay, let me clarify. Cruise on Land, Larimar, projects inside Vista Cana, projects downtown, projects at Cap Cana. I could see the upscale type places will probably do that. I can understand that. I don't like it, but at least you know this before you're buying it. It's not a surprise, right? At least you know now when you go in and buy something, you're sitting there going, okay, I can live with that. Otherwise, forget it. I'll go to Primavera. I'll go to Cana Rock. I'll go to get a downtown project that doesn't have this already mandated, right? I'll get another project in Vista Cana that doesn't require me to go through their management company. All right. So they figured out how to monetize because management company means 25, 30%, right? That's what it means. And you have thousands of units. You can start doing the math. All right. It gets up there. So I'm not mad at them all that much. As long as we have high rentals, we're good. So I wouldn't either. I think they all want control. George's Charles. Management rental is one thing. Again, we can all live with 20, 25%. We can all live with that if we have high rental rates. So we'll see what happens. Johan Confidante, everybody. That's the lawyer you need. That's the guy you want to get in touch with. Doris Duncan, welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. Thank you very much for being here in the house tonight. Sounds like a glorified timeshare being marketed different. Doris Duncan, you're exactly right for Cruise on Land. This is what happened 2 months ago. I'll never forget it. Things strike me odd. I keep a note in my head because we were talking about Cruise on Land, and this guy came on and said, "Oh yeah, you're talking about that timeshare." And we're like, "Timeshare?" I was saying, "Timeshare? What do you mean timeshare? It's not a timeshare." And then now, after getting a hold of the contracts, I'm like, "Wait a minute. This is like a timeshare. They control every aspect of the operation. You're just there paying maintenance fees. You're there getting your usage. You're there being able to rent it out. But everything else, maintenance fees, they went up 20% this year. You got to pay it or you lose access." That's how they roll. So we'll see. George's Charles. Did you just say water park inside Vista Cana? Damn. Yeah, George's Charles. They had it on the drawing board. It's going to be over by Sabana. It's crazy when you think about it. But yeah, it was on the drawing board. I don't know for a fact. There's nobody that's actually came out publicly and said for sure. But on their master plan, they had the shopping zone and the water park in there. When somebody was showing me when they were at one of the meetings, the Vista, it wasn't the Vista Cana, it was a realtors meeting, and the guy sent me over a picture of their TV that they showed, and it had water park and it had a commercial zone is what they called it. And I was like, damn. And it's on the other side by the second beach. And I was like, oh no, this is going to be cool. Brian P is in the house. Another emerging millionaire is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream with the icon next to his name. And he says, hello, Eric. I hope all is well with you. Hello, SSN family. All is well with me. And I hope everything's going well with you. And Thank you for the hello, SSN Nation, SSN family. And he says, I got the notification and trailer. That's 6 people. Thank you so much. I appreciate you letting me know. Here we go. Great amenities, Vista Cana. Yes, exactly. I'm bringing up Sabana for anybody else. And by the way, if you're going to buy at Sabana, then you got to go through Nestor. The $7,000 discount, I thought it was for the first 10 people that bought, but it actually expired at the end of March. So unfortunately, no more $7,000 offer on Sabana project. They have condos now. Let me see the drawing board. Like I said, the guy sent it to me. That was like a month ago. I'm glad you peeped the game on Cruise on Land. Vanessa Comagate. Yes, exactly. I own near the second beach. Exactly, George's Charles. It's on the other side of Sabana. In fact, I'm going to show you guys something right now. I'm just going to pull it up. I have the Sabana brochure. You guys know that, right? So let's go show it on the screen, and then they have their own little island look. So here we are. So hopefully you guys can see this. So here's a map. Here's where what they're showing here. This is this man-made beach here. All right. That's what's happening here. Here's the fishing lake. And you just saw that video where this little island right here is the fishing club island. That's where they took the people to when they were barbecuing out there. Right over here, right here, where you can barely see the greenery, this is the Vista Cana Beach Club in the making. This right here is their pool there. That's all included. This is free, no additional cost. Everybody can come here. Everybody that lives in the complex, this is open to everybody. This is Yak Lounge where you can eat at. So everybody, you're doing good. Here it is. You got an island view. Here is the man-made or the Vista Cana Beach Club. Here is the first saltwater man-made beach area. Here is the fishing lake, and that little island they took people to is over here. This right here at one time was supposed to be what they were calling Commercial Island. This was supposed to have restaurants, shopping, bars, and all that. So far, nothing has been said, but it's there and it can be used. And that's what it was set up for. So all that before you even get into your complex. So that's pretty sweet, right? Now, forgot the map. Here's Sabana over here. All right. Now, some picture I saw had like a commercial zone over here, and over here it said water park. Again, this is where there was supposed to be an 18-hole golf course, and I haven't heard anything about that. And here's the second man-made beach, twice as big, they say, and you can see on the map it is twice as big as the first one, and they have their own clubhouse too. All right. Everybody gets to use all of this. You don't have to pay for the clubhouse. You don't have to pay for the Vista Cana Beach Club. So that's cool, right? So you see it's already been built. This is a recent photo. It's not fully finished, but this is the Vista Cana Beach Club. And here's a pool here. All right. So everybody gets to go up there and use it if you want. Amenities. Well, they're talking about the amenities there. The 18-hole golf course, that cost. The lagoon. They got 2 of them. 2 artificial lakes. Tennis. Okay. You guys know about the sports. Here's the Vista Cana Beach Club. This is what it's going to look like. Pretty simple. Once again, you guys see it. Now look. Now they got volleyball courts. They have another little pool here. You see the pool out here. And again, this was supposed to be Commercial Island. Whether they turn it into that, ultimately, it's there. Who knows? But that leaves them another plot of land. So that means they can add some structure here. And this is beautiful. Child play area, not bad. So if your complex doesn't even have anything, well, you can come to the Vista Cana Beach Club, and there's going to be a second one at the second beach called Vista Cana Clubhouse. How cool is that? This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Vista Cana Beach Club, or they're calling it Casa Club Vista Cana, but either way, look, this is beautiful. Now, amenities of Sabana. This looks like their clubhouse. somewhat. I don't even know where this is. This is weird. But anyhow, pet park, infant park, green areas, mini market. I like that. Veterinarian for residents and pets. Even vaccinations and everything. Secure pet shop, visitors parking. Um, what is this? 5 kilometers of Sendero. Is that the Sendero para Paseos e Cabello Club? Nice. Oh, equestrian. Okay. Nice. I like it. Here's the clubhouse. They just added this, ladies and gentlemen. 2 stories high, co-working spaces. There's going to have a little cafe bar at one of these ends as well. They added this. This is cool. I like that. They have a pool, as you can see on the other side. Here's a little pool area. There's the little bar area, little seating. And then you can see the horses, lounge area. Hey, gotta love it. I like this. I like what they did. This one didn't even exist, but they said, no, we got to up the game. We got to up the game over here. And again, equestrian is expensive. So this is going to be where a lot of people that are wealthy people are going to live. They have 4,000 square foot villas. Give you an idea. They cost 600,000-700,000 right now. All right. Look at this. This is beautiful. Beautiful. All right. And it's gated. This is inside Vista Cana. So this is why this is very, very cool area, social area. They have the green area that they mentioned before. And they got their pools. Gotta love it. Bar, restaurant, pool, salon, reunions. That means event room, kind of. Coffee shop, pet shop, kids park, veterinarian, of course, mini mart. Yeah, you don't have to leave now. Kind of, if you're staying there. So here's the prices. 2 bedroom. Let's see here. 2 bedroom, 196. 80 square meters, it looks like. Terrace, 23 square meters, roughly 250 square feet. 196. C. This one has a patina 3 meters by 5 meters, but it costs additional 201,000. So this is on the bottom. So this is what it looks like. Dr. Tree got. B is the condo 227 with the roof. So it's not the penthouse unit. You got the bottom floor. So it has to be either C or D, right? I don't know the configuration, but here you go. C or D. Yep, C or D. So she got the bottom one. So C or D. 201 or 196. That's a hell of a deal inside the upscale location. So that means you have your own little jacuzzi or piscina pool. And this is what they kind of look like. Nice, modern, beautiful. I mean, what can you say? That's A. That's upstairs. We don't want to go to A. This is the 3 bedroom. Nope, that's not 3 bedroom. Where's this? Is the type A. Or yeah, this is the type A. Yes, that has the roof. That's 237. So is this the 3 bedroom? I think that's the 3 bedroom. So we need. Oh, very nice. I just like the way the way the renderings are. This is how you should have your place look. Is all I'm saying. This is nice. Looks nice and upscale, semi-luxury, clean, just clean. This is the renderings are done like a very nice 2 bedroom, 2 bathrooms. Again, these are very nice. This is Sabana. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It looks like there's an upstairs. Yes, this is the one. Upstairs terrace, 227,000 for this one. And again, just nice. Nothing over the top. but they got the terrace. 227 with this terrace is going to be sweet. That's a great price at this price point at this point in time. Now, if you would have said 2 or 3 years ago, then it would have said overpriced. That's why they didn't release these at the time, because they wouldn't have been able to probably sell it when everybody else has penthouse units for 130,000 or less. So now's the time. So giving you guys just a brief, you can always search the channel for Sabana. All right. Search the channel for Sabana and go from there. And we have Nestor on as well. 92 square meters. That's pretty big. At least it's 1,000 square feet. Oh, this is downstairs. So Dr. Tree, congratulations. Whether you got type D or type C, either way, you did a great job for $200,000. Either way, all good. Inside the upscale location of Sabana. Hell, by the time this is built. Oh, by the way, Sabana has owner financing for the condos, 8 years, 9.7%. You can put down 10%. We have somebody that had a contract, 10% down, but it was $2,900 a month for 7 or 8 years. Now, that's not all bad. The reason why it's not all bad is because it's going to be built in 2 years, and you could refi it because you've been making payments the whole time, and you'll refi it, and interest, you'll get a longer length of time, maybe 15 years, so your payments will come down. So that's not all bad. Owner financing, no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry is cool. Downstairs unit is sweet. And here's what they, 5,000 to reserve, 10,000 down. But can you believe they actually agreed to 10% down and finance the remaining amount for 8 years? Owner financing, developer financing in-house. That is awesome. That is freaking awesome. I got to give them credit on that one. That's the only project I know that does that. Okay, let me see drawing board. I don't have the drawing board. It's probably a picture in my phone somewhere. Vanessa, come again. I'm glad you peeped the game on Cruise on Land. Yeah, yep. Okay, I own near the second beach. Exactly. Urbe Vista is on the other, right halfway between the second beach and the sports complex. I would get Sabana because my daughter loves horses. I'm curious the number Sabana will rent for. Nobody knows. It's in the upscale zone. It could be 300 a night. I don't know. That's the question. Nobody really knows, but we're going to find out over the next year because projects are going to come up. Like Panorama Lake, they're still tweaking that. After all this, this is the 4th month. They were done like almost a year ago. So Panorama Lake's going to come out. Then we're going to find out. We're waiting. Then some other projects are going to come out, and we're going to find out. So whatever the other projects are renting for, just add on 20 to 25% for Sabana, and that's probably what they're going to be renting at. I would think it's going to be like 300 a night, 275 a night, at least 250 a night minimum, I would think. There's no way to really know. I'm just guessing, but that's what I'm thinking. All right. So that's Sabana. And I'm just going to play some videos. Let's see. What else do we have here? Damn. I don't have any. I wanted to play some other videos, but I don't have them. Yeah, this is a bummer. I have Pearl Beach Club. I don't. Wait. Maybe. Kathmandu's. I thought I had some new videos, and I don't. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's do something like this, shall we? I'll play an interlude, 47 seconds. All right. 47 seconds. We'll go. Which one did I use? We'll go here.
Come on, come on.
Gentlemen, this is how we do it on a Friday night. We're not going to stay too long tonight, but anyhow, we were talking about updates, stocks, crypto, and more. The stock market, ladies and gentlemen. What are we doing here at the stock market? It's staying steady. It's not doing much. Up, down, up, down. This is like, is it really 1929 and 1932? So far, we're on an up cycle a little bit, but we're still not moving overly over the top. But nonetheless, here's what's happening though. Some of these stocks that were down 60, 70% have went up 25, 30% to give people nice gains. So it's been working out for quite a few people. So you can't blame them. Sabana will rent high per night because you can accommodate more guests there. Yes, Victor Morel, you got that right. Yeah, you can do a 3-bedroom there too, which is 237, which is incredible when you really start thinking about it. 237 for a 3-bedroom, 227 for a 2-bedroom with the upstairs terrace, penthouse really, and it's inside one of the upscale locations. So again, whenever you do upscale, I always take the high side. If you're going to charge, like, let's say we're at Panorama and you have a 2-bedroom penthouse and you charge 200 a night, that means Sabana should be like almost 300 a night. That's all I'm saying, because it's luxury upscale. That's what I'm hoping for Larimar, for instance. Larimar turns into this upscale luxury place like they claim they're going to be. You could have 2-bedroom units there that are renting for 300 a night, even though the rental guys don't call it that. They call it like 160, 180, something like that right now. But it could easily, if it turns into where they have 5-star hotels and they have all this going on, then you're going to be able to charge like 300 a night, and you're not going to care because you bought under 200,000, right? So you're not going to care if it's 300 per night, and you don't mind giving them 25% because you're sitting there going, well, wait a minute. Even if I give them that, I'm still going to get over $100 per night. So if I get 175 to $200 per every night, and we can do 60%, we can do 18 room nights. You can start doing some numbers. You're like, okay, 18, that's 3,600. You start doing some numbers. You're saying, okay, I can get 3,600, possibly 3,000 a month. You start getting $36,000 on $120, $130 buy. All of a sudden, you're not mad. You're going to say, thank you very much. You're damn near 30% return on your money. If it's only $100 per night, you might be like, okay, I'll get my 10% or whatever, but still, you're going to be happy. That's why you don't want to buy later, because when things are 400 or 300, now you got to charge more. So anyhow, Sabana, hi. Now, there is something I keep thinking about. I'm like, I want to play a video, but I don't have it. I'm upset. I wanted to play this video. I don't have. That's what's crazy. I don't have this video I was going to play. In fact, oh, I know what it is. Yeah, that's too long of a video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, pre-construction real estate project updates. In case you just joined us, the beach, they made an announcement. They're going to have restaurants, bars, spa, mini mart, and pharmacy allegedly as well. They didn't put it in their thread, but they told in the owners group that the pharmacy was coming as well. They're going to have an events room. 4 restaurants is what they're going to have, is according to them as well. That also means they have their beach volleyball court. That also means they're talking about barbecue grills. They don't give the destination or location, but according to the plans, it was supposed to be in the corner. So that's probably where it's going to be. So that only leaves if they're going to have a basketball court, soccer field, and the children's playground area. That's all that it leaves right now, because that's what they're supposed to have as well. So if they add all those back in, and then they, of course, finish in 2-3 years, now you have something to talk about. People will be there. The buildings themselves look beautiful. The outside looks gorgeous. So that's why I'm kind of anxious to see what ultimately Vista Cana looks like, Cruise on Land looks like, and Larimar. Because if they look gorgeous as well, that would be awesome to have these places. And then downtown Punta Cana is going to have some gorgeous places as well with their condo hotels. So things are going to escalate in the upside. And then the next thing you know, you might be in a situation like Victor Morero, where you're not going to be able to maybe get 500 a night, but maybe everything's renting at 300 per night, 350 per night. And if that's the case and you're able to get 60%, roughly 18 room nights, again, you start doing numbers like that, 18 times 3, now you're at $5,600. All of a sudden, you're not mad at $50,000 a year. All right. Now, something else came up today. And I mentioned this on George's Charles channel. We did a live stream together. And let me know, we have investors here. Here's some numbers for you guys to think about. I can't show you on a board. All I'm going to give you is some numbers. Put your investor cap on. Hear me out. Here's what happened. Again, you guys, I told you, we have for mattresses and things like that. You want something upscale. Of course, we're going to be spending $600, $700, $800 for a mattress set. That's going to have to be one of the upscale Sealy's or whatever for a nice, comfortable, good night's sleep, right? $1,000 potentially. So I don't know how much these cost in the DR. But if you want one of these high-end hotel type, 5-star hotel sleeping beds, then you have to spend, right? So if you can get in, again, like I say, I've done all kind of stuff at my house in Cali, which is now in storage, some of the stuff. But the thing is, I slept very comfortably at the Donatello in San Francisco. And every time I go there, it's like a dream. It's like, oh my God, this bed is so awesome. So these guys, I go talk to the, I don't remember who it was, manager, whatever. And he says, hey, Eric, yeah, I heard you talking about these beds and where to get them from. He goes, actually, you can't get them. It's not open to the general public. We order them at bulk from this company. I was like, okay, man, come on. Let me, what happens when you order it bulk and you don't get rid of one bed or you don't need it or whatever the case may be? He goes, well, then we kind of sell it. So anyhow, the guy actually sold me one of their beds. I was like in heaven for like 7, 8 years. And then I moved up to the Tempur-Pedic special layered bed. And then that was even more of a heaven. And so that bed went to the guest room. Now, when my friends and my aunts and uncles and all of them came over, they would stay in that one room with that bed. And the next thing you know, they're like, this is the best I've ever slept. So again, this is the activity that you want when you rent out your places. Don't scrimp on certain things. You want people to have a nice, cozy night's sleep after all the fun they're having, right? So sometimes, even though you don't want to pay extra, you got to pay extra, right? This is one of the things you pay extra for. And you don't scrimp on cheap pans either. You guys know I have like a freaking 20 things list, and I go over some of them the same, but bedding, that's one of my little pet peeves. You want people to sleep well, so it's worth spending the money. And so anyhow, I told my cousin today, I said, man, I forgot you even have this business. Let's go and we got to talk. In 2-3 years, there's like 20, 30 people that's going to need some bedding. And he goes, man, I can probably get something to you if you let me know how many order at the same time. And then I can worry about shipping out of Miami. He goes, and I can actually have it shipped probably straight out of Miami, Dominican Republic. You just need somebody to get it at customs. And I said, man, you should have already been on this. All you have to do is call the custom clearinghouse and they'll have somebody there. You already contracted with them, so you don't have to be there. And so anyhow, that's what we're going to be doing. And so you guys can hold on. We do actually have ends, and he can get furniture too. So if it's cheaper, a lot cheaper than being in the DR, then it makes sense. If it's not a lot cheaper, then you might as well just get stuff in the DR. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's see how we do this. All right, Eric, how much will all this cost at the beach? But good to know they stepping up. What do you mean? Their HOAs are $2 per square meter. No different than any other project. So it's they don't and you don't pay for none of the amenities. It's all included. Again, the only place that's doing this pay per amenities seems to be Cruise on Land. Everybody else, Atabay 2, it's part of your HOAs. Now, somebody could say that they're including it in the HOA, but again, everybody's doing $2 a square meter with all their amenities right now. I haven't heard anybody paying $3 a square meter, $4 a square meter, or more. Victor Morel's out at Cana Rock. I know it can't be more than $2 a square meter there either, because they don't actually have, other than their amenities right there, which that's all they have. So they're probably $2 a square meter as well. I haven't heard anybody more, but then again, I don't recall anybody buying anything in Cap Cana yet. So I don't know if Cap Cana has a higher per square footage rate for their HOAs. Doris Duncan, welcome again. She says furniture is expensive in the DR. Yes, Doris Duncan, if you're in the DR and you know how much it costs, that's the thing. Unless I have to go over there, then there's no way for me to really know because I can't look online. So again, if you want one of the nicer beds and it's going to cost $900, or in the DR, is it going to cost $1,500? That's the question. If it's going to cost $1,000 and it cost me $1,000 over here, then it's no difference. Now, if it's $1,000 over there and they're giving me something that is worth $400 or $500 bedding, that ain't going to work. So it all depends if we can match up the prices with the quality. That matters. And Doris Duncan, it sounds like you might be or maybe familiar with the DR. So let us know if you know how much furniture costs. I did look online, and yes, it does cost a lot. I can see why people would go down to IKEA. It's expensive over there. So just keep that in mind. Let's see here. Man, I get some. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, I went over a few things that you guys get to understand, but pre-construction is everywhere. We have I'll be dropping a video tomorrow. Oh, wait, I dropped a few videos today, but I'll be dropping another video tomorrow about another project inside Vista Cana. It's reasonable. All right. You guys are going to know I still didn't do vibes, but that's okay. I'm going to do something different. It's a newer one that Nestor has that we can deal with as well, but it's not going to be that upscale like how Sabana is. And again, if you're starting to approach the Cana Arena downtown, a 2 bedrooms, $177,000. Yes, they do have amenities like a tennis court, a fitness center, some lockers, pool area, kids area, pet park area, but you could be inside Vista Cana for $20,000 more. In fact, you can be at Sabana for $20,000 more. That's all I'm saying. So, or you can get another like Seven Palms and get their penthouse unit for 150, 160,000 and be inside Vista Cana instead of downtown with just a restaurant, bar, fitness center, tennis courts, and a locker and a couple of pools. You could have everything at Vista Cana included and pay the same $2 a square foot HOAs. So therefore, why would you not get all this extra stuff that for the same price? That's what I'm saying. The pricing is getting to where it makes much more sense. Now, you can be like some of us who's at Larimar, you can get a 2 bedroom there for 119,000, 121,000. And that's straight up all luxury and upscale. So, I mean, take your pick. But now the 2 bedrooms are escalating. 130, 140. They're escalating. And in 2 months, they're going to be 2.5% higher, which means roughly about $3,000 more in 3 months. In the month of June, April, May, June. At the end of June, it's going to be another $3,000 for most properties, some $3,500 more. The penthouse units up there, I can't believe they're still $300,000, $313,000, and then $324,000 for these 3 bedroom, 3.5 baths, 1,950, 1,926 square foot 2-level units. I mean, it's unfreaking believable. Those things are going to be worth who knows how much, especially if the beach sells their 4-bedroom penthouse for $637,000. That changes the whole game. Even though Larimer's so far away that it's not going to be in their sphere of appraisal value, but that just gives you an idea. If they sell that, then the next one sells, next one, it gets crazy. All right, furniture is expensive. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up a little bit early tonight. Let me know if you have any further questions. I didn't really get into too much tonight because we got into the real estate aspects of it. But remember, we're talking about pre-construction properties, no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. Some people may say, hey, Eric, I hear you about this pre-construction real estate projects. I do have something else. I'm going to show you Lofty Brickell because I have Lofty Brickell. But Lofty Brickell, they have 1-bedrooms now, and these things are going to cost like $800,000. And you might want to live in downtown Miami in the Brickell section. So I might as well play this video so you guys can get an idea that it's still pre-construction. It's still pretty cool. Let me see if I have it. I thought I had Lofty Brickell. Now I find out I don't. Oh, I do. 4 minutes. Check out Lofty Brickell. This is pre-construction. If you go there, it's Sophia. I think it's Sophia at loftybrickell.com, if I'm not mistaken. Tell her Eric sent you SSN Nation if you want to go check.
Imagine landing in Miami International Airport. From your flight, you see what Miami is all about. Water, beaches, high-rises, a vibrant city.
This sleepy little town that had all of the elements and components to become a spectacular city. And here we come with this incredible Miami of 2022, punctuated by unbelievable offerings, and Lofty brings it all together.
This incredible city by the water, this beautiful Brickell neighborhood, right by the river, the lights of the beautiful buildings, people walking by, having a great time, whether it's having dinner or lunch or enjoying the weather, and then you arrive to Lofty.
It's captured the essence of our city. All the things that make this city exciting have been packaged into one product. We're on the water. We have great activation with wonderful speakeasies, waterfront eating, flexible living in an incredible location. They've bottled the energy of the city in one fabulous building.
It provides a flexible ownership model that doesn't exist. Total freedom for you as an owner. Freedom to leave it, freedom to use it, freedom to monetize it as you please. It comes 100% furnished and finished with a tremendous amount of services and everything within a setting that is very, very well designed and very well thought out.
Here the big idea was obviously the urban and the natural character of the riverfront. And that manifests in two different interesting design aesthetics that have a kind of tension with each other. A very modern, forward-looking aesthetic, an urban aesthetic, but with a very tactile and natural rendering. Marrying urban and glamorous aspects of downtown with the riverfront and bringing those two worlds together in an aesthetic was really the primary goal of the project.
Probably nothing is more powerful than the location. In this case, it is the river, and it's an active river. Ships, yachts, canoes, everything goes up and down that river. We were looking to a design that made some reference to the nautical forms. So there's always some degree of coincidence with a vocabulary that you would find in naval architecture.
We are located at one of the most unique spots in Miami at the crossroads of the Underline and the Miami Greenway, the Riverwalk, as well as being close to the burgeoning neighborhood of Brickell City Center at Brickell Avenue in general, and we wanted to engage with the public realm. So the ground floor of the building essentially spills out into the neighborhood and invites the neighborhood in and look at the riverfront, watch the yachts go by, and really feel as if they're part of an amazing community.
It's not only just exclusive residential or flexible ownership concept. It's all about belonging to a club, making you an insider, giving you this sense of belonging. If you want access, you want activation, you want the best location, and you want to own, then Lofty is the only way.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a little Lofty Brickle love right there. High-end, upscale, on the river. In fact, at one time, they're going to have their own little mini marina right there on the river, by the way, which makes it another little feature. That's awesome, actually. And to think you could have got a studio, I believe, unit at, when it first started at 400 and some thousand. Unbelievable. The price appreciation over the last year, year and a half, 2 years is incredible. Eric from Laverne Penix, check out Debtbox. Yes, I have. XPLR is down almost 50%. Yes, it is. We're still accumulating tokens. And also, Debtbox licenses for aluminum and XPLR are down to 2,500. They reduced them to 2,500 for the license for XPLR and aluminum. You know why? Because just what you just said, 50% down. XPLR hasn't even officially took off yet, because they haven't launched their satellite, so they're not getting that feed. So just be patient. It's all about the accumulation. You should have, well, I know you have like 300 and some thousand, approaching 400,000 tokens. That's what you want. Because if these things ever go to 50 cents, let's just call it what it is. If they go to $1, let's call it what it is. So far, it's only been, what, 8 months? 7 months? Well, yeah, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 8 months. And actually, not even 8 months. 8 months in about 3 weeks, 2 weeks. So that's not bad. Hold on tight. We got to go through at least a year. So long as it's accumulating, we're good. And imagine, again, you could easily have in the next few months, you'll have, well, 600,000. We'll be over 100,000 as the group. So we'll be fine. Just got to be patient. Let them do their thing. But yeah, I saw all of that. Because, again, I don't know why it's all going down like this, but it's because it's on Pancake Swap. So people can, it's liquid. So people who had, think about this. So November 21, BGLD came out, 2021. Early 2022, people have been accumulating tokens for almost over a year now, year and few months for some people. They could have millions of tokens. So they're sitting there taking out their advantage. They're saying, okay, I'll sell like a few 100,000 and get like whatever it is, a couple $1,000s in some cases for some tokens. And so that's why the price is going down. People are dumping some of their tokens because they can swap now on Pancake Swap to other tokens. It's a lot easier. It's liquid. So I believe that's what's happening. All right. So we'll see. Some of the projects are down more than 50%. Exactly. Miracle Bro, Lofty Brickle. But isn't Miami going to be underwater in 10 to 20 years? Miracle Bro, you talking about Ocean Drive? No, you're talking, yeah, there's some parts of the island. See, Miami is one thing. The islands is another. Ocean Drive and all that's like an island. So the interior of so if you drive on Collins, Washington, and you come over and you're on the island, all right, where Ocean Drive is, Collins, Washington, and all that, then you will know, well, you got to pay attention. There's pumps on the side of the roads that's pumping. You hear this. Those are actually pumps. They kind of camouflage them, or people don't notice because there's all kind of boats and you see all kind of things. People who live on the other side in that little pocket, they are underwater already. All right. So it's depending on certain areas, but downtown Brickell is not going to be underwater. And needless to say, like I said, the prices have doubled. Whatever you bought a year and a half ago, it's double that at Lofty Brickell. So it is what it is. Ariam Calle, welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. Hello once again, my boy Eric, investing in Punta Cana. Of course, that's where you got to go, man. That's where we go. You did too, right? As I recall. So you're doing good. Everybody should be happy who's in Vista Cana. Victor Morel, downtown by the river in Miami is another league, Eric. Exactly, Victor Morel. A whole nother league. They're creating the league. Remember Nativo, the 2-bedroom. They had a 2-bedroom unit in Nativo that was like $600,000 or $700,000 million now, right? So their appreciation, because they're luxury accommodations with amenities, they get to appreciate. That's how it works. And especially when you have demand. That's why we want luxury demand. That's why you want luxury, in my opinion. I always go with luxury. All right, Dr. Tree, if anyone is interested in Sabana, call Nestor. He's a Sabana expert. So glad I'm doing my deal with Nestor. Very professional, speaks English and many other languages. Thanks to SSN. Thanks, Dr. Tree. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you found the channel. Not many people can find the channel, and Nestor is a great guy. He's a great guy. Me and Nestor are going to be working together on some other projects. In fact, that's why I'm going to be talking about, is it Riviera Costeño? I think it's already been out, but hey, I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow. So you guys get an idea. That's in Vista Cana as well. Another property, but it's not, I haven't really reviewed it yet. I don't think it's going to, I know Sabana's upscale. Let's call it what it is. I love panorama projects. Okay, I love all the projects in Vista Cana. What can I say? You guys know this. I should have a street after my name over there. So, but thank you for that rendition. And down below in the description box is Nestor's information. Even if you want something else in Vista Cana, go see him. All right. And then down below that, we have 7 Palms, which is across the street from the second beach. And then I have Brian's number and WhatsApp number there, I believe. I hope it's there. That's the drip token. I am still accumulating, making 30 per day. I keep recompounding every day. Once that moves to $1, I'll be pumping money. There we go. See, this is exactly what's happening. This is what you have to be patient. So all it is what's going to happen when these things take off. Now, keep in mind, drip is different than the debt box license. Debt box, actually, there's businesses involved, and it's mining tokens, and the tokens are backed by the business. So there's a little different things going on, but neither here nor there. Bottom line is accumulate as many tokens as you can while everything is in the toilet. This is what we do. All right. West Coast Florida have also nice projects. Ariam Calle, yes, they do, but it depends on where you're talking about. Are we talking about Tampa area, St. Pete, Clearwater, Naples? Here's the thing, though. You're going to be paying those prices in those areas, right? They're not going to be no $120,000, $200,000 for condos that are luxury 5-star with equestrian center and all this, or these man-made beaches and all that. That's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to spend just $200,000 on villas, condos, and have all these amenities. That's not it's going to cost you a lot more than that. And your HOA fees are going to be a lot more than $2 a square. $2 a square meter, and the square meter is 3 feet. So keep that in mind, right? So you're not going to be paying 70 cents per square feet where you live. I can almost guarantee you that. In Florida, for whatever reason, they're off the charts for HOA fees. They're so crazy. New projects in Vista Cana, Riviera Costeña. That's the one I'm going to be doing a video on tomorrow. That's exactly the one, Ariam Calle. Okay, this one I've never heard of. Altamira Villas. Now is the time to invest in Punta Cana. Where is Altamira Villas? Let us know. I want to hear about this. All right, on top of that, Eric, you can be showing up at Lofty with a Toyota. They won't talk to you. Person, turquoise wing. Hey, they have valet parking. They have no choice but to take my Toyota if I had a Toyota. All right, they have no choice. They're taking the Toyota, and I'm staying there. All right. That's all it is. No, I'm not staying there, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't buy a lofty Brickell. All right. I love Miami. It was enticing when the TiVo, but now the prices have escalated to why buy there when you can get Miami on the horizon for less than 20% of the price. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. That's funny. And they won't take you in. No, they have valet parking. They're taking the Toyota. We're all good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's having a little bit of fun. Okay, so since I'm showing love to a lot of upscale places, I'm going to show some love to Larimar then. So check this out. Oh, God, I hope this might be a problem. Let me hold on a second. I don't want to play this video. Oh, I might have to. Let's see. I'm going to play this video, but if it gets copyright, so what? Here's Larimar. This gives you the look and feel. This is a rendering, ladies and gentlemen. This hasn't been built yet, but this just gives you the look and feel. And by the way, Larimar is going to be now the #1 project. Vista Cana hot on its heels with the #2 project. And from that point on, I don't have a 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, but I'm going to create that. All right. So now you guys know what we're dealing with. And here goes #1 project. You already saw the #2 project. In fact, I have these videos up here, but I don't know why I don't. Oh, I know why. They're too big. That's why I don't have them. But check this out. I'm going to play this one for you from Larimar. This is. Uh-oh. Hear it. Here we are. Welcome back to the 5-minute Larimar preview. I had to show that one. That is sweet, right? Now you guys understand what I'm talking about. Altamira Villa is part of the Viva project, which is inside Vista Cana. All right, I need to know about this area. I don't know about that project. Anything inside the top 2 projects, I love. All right, because everything is included when a person owns there. So I love it. Not everything. I mean, the golf is never included. All right. But everything else, we're good. Is the Larimar project is near Cruise on Land project? Yes. It's in Verone. So, yes, it's nearby, which is pretty sweet in itself. All right. Larimar, Miracle Bro says overwater bungalows. Okay. Just to be clear, they wanted to give you the vibes. The bungalow is going to be a hotel. The overwater bungalows are a hotel. A 5-star hotel is supposed to be there. They're supposed to be renting those. You guys, okay, look, this is rumor. They're supposed to be renting these in the thousands per night. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 per night. And if that is true, then we have Margaritaville. That's all I'm going to say. Everybody that lives in a condo, you're going to be very happy if you find out that somebody's renting $2,000 a night, $4,000 a night to stay in bungalows. Even though it's a hotel, it's still on the premises. So now people are going to say, okay, I like this spot, right? Simply because it costs more. That also should translate into us being able to charge a little bit more than regular, whatever the regular prices are. I don't even know what they're going to be yet. But in 2.5 years, they could be $250 to $300 per night. That could be a thing. So we don't know yet. Miracle Bro, the Cliff Blue, fire on top of amenities included. Yes, that's why this place is going to be off the charts. Again, any place that has amenities, such as even Cruise on Land, you pay for the amenities. That's great. But the point is, people are going to be on social media showing all this stuff. So these are going to be hot places that people are going to want to stay. All right. Vista Cana, Cruise on Land, downtown. They're all going to want to stay at these places because people will be walking around with their iPhones, cameras, drones, and they'll be showing it. And you can imagine walking down a boardwalk and you're sitting there walking and like I have partial or on the horizon, you can see the ocean. And then at nighttime on the horizon, you could potentially see the ocean on a great moonlit night. And you can see downtown shining and the city somewhat shining. That's going to be special as well. Again, think of, well, I don't know how many people have been to LA, but think of some movies that you've seen that they're in LA and they're in like one of the canyons that people don't really know they're in the canyons. And you can see the lights of LA. Those homes are in the tens of millions of dollars and they're nowhere near LA, downtown LA. All right. Just so you know. But the view overlooking the canyon and the city, that is value. And again, this is what happens in most locations, no matter where you are. even if you're in a mountainous region and you are around a lake, the higher you are, or the closest you are to the lake, those are the most expensive homes. The ones in between, they're generally a little less. But either if you have ocean or lake view from a perch, ocean view from a perch, or it's directly on the water, like the difference between Malibu, for instance, right? And Calabasas, for instance, two different things, but they still are tens of millions of dollars. So it depends on a lot of factors. So again, the cliff view is fire. That's the way it's going to be, man. That's a new video. Beautiful project. Yes, Victor Marrero. I had to release it. I've had it in the coffers. So I had to finally release it. And I can't put it here in the normal video queue because it's over 200 megabytes. So that's why I said, you know what? Tonight I'm going to unveil the video. It's going down. That's why Larimar, again, if you want to do anything at Sabana, Vista Cana, down below in the description, you can find Nestor's information and WhatsApp. Let them know you came from SSN Nation. Let them know Eric said, go check it out. Let them know Dr. T even mentioned, hey, she got something over there and she's excited about it. All right. So that's it for there. And any other project like this, Altamira, we got to go find out in Riviera Castaño or Castania, however you pronounce it. That is going to be a video coming out tomorrow. So we're going to delve more. I'm going to delve more into these pre-constructions because time is almost up. Not everybody's going to be able to afford $2,000, $2,500 a month because some of these projects are going to be done in less than 2 years. So 24 monthly payments, and you got to put down 30%, and things cost $200,000. All of a sudden, you're going to be sitting there going 24 months, and I'm going to owe 60 G's. Now you understand you might be in the $2,500 a month range. We don't want you in that range if you can avoid it, unless you're doing the owner financing and you're paying $2,983 a month for 9 years, and you can actually refi before your 9 years because the property is going to be well more than what you're paying for it. So it works out that way. But that's the only project that you can do that at Sabana. They have owner financing in-house, no credit checks, no qualifying, just put down 10%. Again, they'd have a contract. They did one person 10%. He pays $2,983, and it was for the $227,000 property, but he had the $7,000, so it came out to $220,000. So again, everybody else now, the $7,000 discount is off the table for Sabana because it expired March 31st. And so now you pay $227,000, and now that's going to cost you probably, you'll be in the $3,000, $3,050 a month, probably $3,025 a month for 9-year price range. So you'll be at $3,000 a month, but 10% down, that's 20 something. What is that? 27,000 down, 28,000 down, and then send them $3,000 a month. At the end of 2 years, it's fully built. It'll be worth 300,000 maybe. Then you just refi it, and you should be able to get lower than 9.7 or 10%. So now you put yourself in a different position, and go ahead and rent it out and see what happens. But I think everybody's going to be fine. Ariam, what do you think about Cap Cana? Cap Cana is one of the top places to live. That's where all the 5-star. That's where the celebrities hang out right now. Otherwise, they drive 45 minutes to an hour away and go to Casa de Campo, right? So most of the superstars hang out at Cap Cana. Not all, but a lot. So that's one of the top 5 locations is Cap Cana. So I have top 5 projects, but I've never done my top 5 list of locations. And so Cap Cana is like the 5th location. Downtown is even in the 4th location, just to give you an idea. So location-wise, Cap Cana has luxury and it's upscale. That's where Margaritaville, Punta Cana is. And a few other, that's where well, they don't have a Westin there, but they have other 5-star hotels, 5-star resorts are all there. 2 world famous beaches are there. They have a golf course designed by, I think, Nicholas and someone else there. They have a new golf course coming in Cap Cana, which is amazing. Ina Iguanas or something like that. That's incredible. I can't even believe they're putting another golf course there. That land is valuable, but they're doing it. They have a lot of stuff over in Cap Cana. You know, they have their little water seascapes, I believe it's called. I can't never remember the name, proper name, but their ATV park, zip line park, and all that. They have their own. I mean, they got restaurant and bar stuff on their beaches, and they're world famous. So yeah, you pay more when you stay at Cap Cana, but you know what? Cap Cana prices for condos are not off the charts. They used to be way up there, but now that people are used to paying 200,000 for condos, now it's no big deal if you pay 265, right? But their condos are usually larger units, but you pay more. But now even in Cap Cana, guess what they're doing? Like at the Wave, they're putting in mini golf. They're even putting in amenities. That's what this is doing. This is what Larimar, Vista Cana, Cruise on Land, this is what's happening. The beach, this is causing all of the projects to start saying, you know what, we better start throwing some things in here, because otherwise nobody's going to want to stay here, nor are they going to want to buy places here. So now they started throwing some things in at Cap Cana. I'm trying to think of that project that just came out. Whoa, the Wave. I just mentioned it. Wave has a mini golf at their spot. That's funny stuff. Very, very funny. Oh, there we go. The big time name, St. Regis, is there. Yep, they're coming. So they have 5-star, but this is what Larimar is trying to do. And if they pull it off, which they are going to be pulling it off, because they have 4 5-star hotels committed already. They have Juan Andreas, a world famous chef, well known. He's committed to bringing one of his restaurants to the city there, the city that's going to have a mall, a restaurant. You guys saw it. Mall, shopping, nightclub, bars, restaurants. He's bringing it all there. And remember, these guys are on a cliff, right? I thought it was 100 meters. According to that video, it's 150 meters. That's pretty high. So imagine being on the cliff and you're sitting at restaurants, bars, nightclubs, and you have a view over the city. If they show them, if they face that way, which they should, imagine that you're in the mall, and that potentially upstairs on the top roof, you could actually have a place like in Manila. They have restaurants on top of their mall. So you could have views of the ocean from the top of the mall. That's what they could be doing here. They could do so much because there's not that many people that can be out on this ridge. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. Would Vista Cana be another Cap Cana in 5 to 10 years from now? Exactly. Vista Cana has potential for that. They're upscale and luxury. They have a lot of projects that are upscale in there and luxury. So they're going to have a combo, but because it's going to be each separate community, like Oasis del Lago, man, you should see their condo project. And they brought their own clubhouse over there now that has lake view, and they have pools, and they have fitness in their clubhouse at Oasis del Lago is off the charts. I got to get that video. I have it somewhere. Wait till you see that one. And they're in the 200,000 price range too for their condos. So it's not too bad, but it's on Oasis del Lago on the other side of the first beach. So that's coming over there. So yes, I agree with this statement that Vista Cana is going to be upscale. They have luxury condos or villas within it. And then they also have what we'd call regular, but everything's going to be nice. So same type of thing. Larimar, Cruise on Land changed up kind of. I mean, I always consider them somewhat upscale. I don't put them in the luxury category. I just put it upscale. So that's why rent should be good there. And they have all these amenities. Depending on what happens with the pay for amenities fees, we'll see. But the fact of the matter is, those projects are nice. Cana Rock, the units that they're building on the golf course, like Star and Galaxy, those are nice. So they have buildings that are iconic that's going to be nice. So again, these are all going to be beautiful places. The beach, the outside looking in, their project looks beautiful. Their buildings already look beautiful to me. All right, so that's going to be beautiful. So now it's just a matter of where do you want to live and at what price. And right now, all prices are good. But again, they're escalating because, last year you could have still bought 3 bedrooms for under 200,000. Now you're getting Sabana, you can buy a 3 bedroom under 200,000. Cruise on Land, you can buy a 3 bedroom for under 200,000 unfurnished. You can't buy a 3 bedroom at Larimar because that's a penthouse unit. Those are 300 and some $1,000. There's not too many places you're going to be able to get away with a 3 bedroom in a luxury upscale location for under 200,000. You've got Savannah still, but you can still buy villas under 200,000. How about that? That are 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath villas at Primavera 4, and they have a man-made beach, soccer field, basketball courts, other green areas, children's playground areas. Hell, somebody said the other day, $67,000 they bought it luxury, Primavera Luxury 3, a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 2 months ago. So that means you can still buy a 2 bedroom, 1 bath at Primavera 3 project for $67,000. That's incredible when you think about it. Incredible, even though it is a 2 bedroom, 1 bath. It's still incredible. But I agree with that statement, Ariam. That's why inside Vista Cana, getting the prices 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you're going to win big time. Everybody who got something under, like I said, I believe under 250,000, you're going to win. Rental rate should at least be 1% of what you bought it for. Macau Hills Villas, 3 bedrooms, 79K. Yes, I know about it. The only problem about Macau Hills, there's no Macau Hills. I want Ocean View if I get Macau Hills, but I didn't know it was 79K. I can't find anybody actually talking about it. And I can't really get any information on Macau Hills. All right, we're going to wrap this up here shortly, but Ariam's given us something to talk about. Maybe I should request some Macau Hills information because 79K is crazy. What people don't know is there's projects, all-inclusive projects past Macau. What you may not also know is there's talk of another airport up there past Macau or by Macau or in that section, but more inland. If they do that, that means there's going to be easily another million people coming into the Punta Cana area. And that just means everything's off the charts. Then we are all talking about, hey, we're setting it and forget it like Victor Marrero does at Margaritaville. You guys, hey, handle it all. I'll give you 25%. I'll let you take the 5 to 10% occasionally from travel agencies. So, Ariam, let me know about Macau Hills. You can send me an email at support@stopstrugglingnow.com. It's just that the PDF can't be bigger than 25 megabytes. What do you mean on Macau? I know of projects in Macau that are just basically condos, and then all they have is no amenities. All they have is a pool, a children's playground area, and maybe a fitness center. That's it. So Macau Hills, I think I've seen it before. That was villas, if I'm not mistaken, and it wasn't by the beach. And I don't know where Macau Hills would be because it didn't show any hills. So we'll see. The only way to buy XPLR tokens is through Pancake Swap. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But you can have USDT, you can have Bitcoin, you can have whatever. And you can actually buy the XPLR tokens direct. It's a beautiful thing. But that means it's liquid because you can change it into any other token. So whatever you want to put it into on the chain. So it's liquid. That's a beautiful thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about is crypto. And again, we are in Miracle Cash and More. We have Debtbox Node. If you want any of that information, search the channel down below in the description. You might find something for free stocks from Robinhood and Webull. Please get those. You might find the information for Miracle Cash and More. I dropped 3 videos, 1, 2, and 3. It wasn't just for me. It was from the company giving updates. There's 3 videos, not much viewing pleasure, but a lot of people don't look at Miracle Cash and More as anything special right now. But once you see what the owner says, you might want to pay more attention. All right, that's down below. We're part 1, part 2, part 3. I dropped part 3 of 3 today. They were talking about commissions for Boogie Gopher Club Cash Flow NFT. So that's how you do that. But we'll see what happens. Now, I think we're going to wrap this up. We're almost, yes, we're at midnight. I appreciate everybody being here. You guys know I love you. And if there's ever any subject matter you want to talk about, please let me know. And again, Ariam, if you want to send me something on Macau Hills, I mean, I can look it up. I've seen it already. But let me know. Send me a message, support@stopstrugglingnow.com. I will get it. All right. It's that simple. Now, I'm trying to think what else I'm going to show you guys tonight, but you guys know I love you. If you ever have any questions, you can ask them on chat. You can send me an email. You can ask on social media. It does not matter. And I appreciate your support. I really do. Everybody with the icons, thank you so much for your financial support, not only just being a subscriber, but also a member of the channel. I greatly appreciate that. And everybody here watching, thank you so much tonight. Please come back on Monday at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At the bottom of the page is our email list that you can sign up for. I send out emails whenever I upload videos and when we go live. And in case you don't get notifications, that's one way you can actually get a notification, hopefully. So that helps out greatly. And it's going to be a hell of a weekend. It's Easter weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you be safe out here and don't get into anything crazy, and you take care of yourself and loved ones, all right? So with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, but you have a way out, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let this news get you down when they start talking about dollars are going to go away and inflation is just not that much of inflation, but yet you go down and buy things and you see firsthand how much things are costing and you're thinking, I can't make extra streams of revenue. There's ways you can do it. We have it all here in the SSN Nation. We don't have gurus. We don't have courses. We don't sell you anything. So if you need some help, that's what you do. Ask. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to email you something interesting at Miracle Bro. I'm going to email you something interesting. Go ahead, man. You know I'm always down with that. And I got to give you guys something before you leave tonight. I told you briefly about it earlier, but I wanted to get some numbers and then I got sidetracked. So actually, before I close out tonight, if you're here, we have investors here. I want to know what you think. So I'm going to have to go to a page. Let me go see if I can throw up a contract. Oh, in fact, here's my contract. Hey, here's my Larimar contract, by the way. It's on screen. So, yeah, that's me. Let's see here. Oh, this is in Spanish. All right. So 133.9. That's it. 133.9 Larimar. All right. Here's the payment amounts. Banco Popular. It's in Spanish, so you'd have to read Spanish. But anyhow, I'll have the English version for you. But let's go to Google. Calculator. All right. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so as you guys know, I told you earlier, I gave you a preface. I was talking with my cousin, right? And a guy that's selling that has a hotel. He was there. My cousin calls me. He says, "Hey man, this guy's trying to sell his hotel. Let me give you guys some numbers." The guy wants 2.9 million. All right. Is that 2.9 or is that 29 million? All right. But anyhow, he wants 2.9 million. All right. In fact, let me do something. I wish I had this. Okay, 2.9 million. I can never do this off the top. I don't know how to get the. Okay, that's 2,900, 29,000, 290. All right. Is that 2.9? Nope. I think that's 2.9. All right. So, nah, that's 29 million. Jeeks. Oh, well. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, he wants 2.9 million. It has 80 unit hotel. It's branded Travelodge. All right. Okay. So is that $36,250 per unit? Hey, that's not bad. Now, the place has been closed for a year. All right. So there's no revenue numbers. The person he bought it from, who was running it into the ground, they had 35 units available. They grossed 2 years ago. They grossed $350,000 with 35 units available, and it was run down. Over the last year, the guy has done total rehab, got the contract with Travelodge, which is a Wyndham product. Days Inn, Travelodge, they're all under the Wyndham brand, and a bunch of others. So he's contracted with them. He has a 10-year contract to be branded Travelodge, but he has an out clause in 4 years with no penalty. So that's a good thing. And there's no management, no encumbrances whatsoever. So you can walk away, even any new owners. So that was a good sign. The occupancy rate, I cannot figure out thus far because he doesn't have the star report and he doesn't even have it up for sale. This is the beauty of it. It's not up for sale in reality. He just has other projects and he wants some money. So the question is, he says that the rents are only $60 to $65 is what he's going to do. He's going to open in like 2 weeks. All right. But he's up for if somebody gives him $2.9 million. Now, the question really is, if you do $60 and we have a 60% occupancy rate. Now, that's a big if. We don't know yet because, again, I don't have a star report handy for me, but I'll find one. I'll get it. No big deal. So if we do $60 per night and we have 60% occupancy, all right, which is 60% of 80 rooms is 48 rooms. But again, 5 of them actually 75, 76 are runnable. So we're down to 45 rooms. $60 a night times 45. Right? So 45 room nights times 30 days on average. This is the magic number. $81,000 a month gross times 12. Here we are, 972,000. Now, if you're in the real estate business, no matter what business you're in, keep this in mind. Keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Leo Ramirez, welcome to the SSN Nation Friday night live stream. Thank you so much for being here once again. Hi, everyone. Hello to you too. So, very nice to see you on this Good Friday. So, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Very simple. 972,000 is the guesstimate right now. Okay, that's the guesstimate. What do you do if you own real estate and you're renting it out? Just as an investor, all you do is take 50% off. Generally, that's what it's going to boil down to, somewhere plus or minus 5 to 10% on either direction. But just take off 50%. That's what the expenses are going to be. So we're going to divide this by 2. The fact that you actually have a gross revenue of nearly $1 million annually, that's impressive. Now, this equals $486,000, let's say free and clear. We're just guesstimating if the numbers come in right. It's already been rehabbed, ladies and gentlemen. That's the beauty of this. No rehab needed. It's all been rehabbed over the last year. So now, if you guys already know, in case you're new here, what I do is, to me, the property is worth this number right here times 10. So that means it's worth over $4 million if we have this number. Now, here's the thing. So now somebody would say, well, what can you do, Eric? Well, you need to know somebody that can do some financing. So we put together a package. Now, all these numbers, if they're true, so we put together the package. We see if the guy says, okay, what is he going to do? He's going to say, okay, I'll give you the 2.9 million. I'm going to give you interest only for like 1 or 2 years. But let's just say it doesn't really matter what it is. Just to say it's 1% 1 year. That means that out of the 486, you're going to have 290,000 coming off annually. That leaves 196,600. And I mean 196,000. Now you divide that by 12, right? That's not right. Well, anyhow, 196 by 12 is going to be roughly 17,000 a month. Something like that, right? Divided by 12. Let's see. Yeah, $16,333 per month. All right. So, is it worth a deal? Is that worth a stretch going for it? Is that worth a stretch? Let me know, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? 17,000, 16,000 per month, clear. Potentially it could be higher. Is that worth doing this deal? Considering that the property is worth more than 2.9 if these numbers come in right, because it's 486,000 a year profit. So that would indicate this is worth $4 million. Even if you said 3.9, 3.7, 3.6, it's still worth more than 2.9. Let me know what you think. And we're using 60%. Now, if you get up to, instead of 45 room nights, and you get up to 48 nights or 49 nights, now all of a sudden you're bringing in an additional per night of roughly $200, another $6,000 per month. So now all of a sudden you're in the $20,000 profit. So again, there's certain things that you can do. Let me know if any of you, just off of what I said, is that even worth a look? Is that even worth the time of day? That's the $1 million question, right? So let's go see if it is, but I got to get off of here first. So let's see. Okay, Miracle Bro wants to talk about something tonight. Okay. This might be something worthwhile. Let's see what he's got going on. This is going to be an extended version. In case you're new here, just because I said we're almost going to end this doesn't mean we're always going to almost end this, because you never know. If you guys want to talk about something, then I usually hang around for a little bit longer. So I'm going to go check this email and see what we got going on. It may be something that's very, very cool. And in the meantime, I'm just going to hit up one of the SSN Lifestyle promo vids. How about that? Let's do it that way. All right. Let's see here. Let's go. I think I already. Oh, yeah, I did that once, so I won't go there. So we'll go here.
Come on, come on.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. SSN Lifestyle. Need that passive income. All right. I did get something. And you said there's an article. Hey, Eric, cruise on land contract is terrible. Leo Ramirez, tell me about it, man. Tell me about it. I have that same position as you, Leo. Same position, Mr. Ramirez. I don't know if you saw the video that I dropped today, but if you saw that, then you see all of that. I don't agree with none of it. I just think they're overboard. Like I said, I think I'm buying into, well, it's a timeshare, like the guy said 2 months ago. I don't know if that was you or somebody else, but somebody said 2 months ago, oh, Cruise on Land's a timeshare. And I was like, yeah, it's acting like that. And by the way, I do have something else that I left off this whole time. It's another real estate option that's in Orlando, Victor Marrero territory. I canceled the deal. Oh, Leo Ramirez, you were gonna buy at Cruise on Land. I didn't realize you were buying at Cruise on Land. What were you gonna buy at Cruise on Land? I don't think it was the penthouse unit, was it? Let me know which unit was it. And if you're gonna cancel the deal there, are they gonna give you your money back and your reservation? And are you gonna choose another location? That's the $1 million question. Because for the same price, you have another option, a couple of options actually. 7 Palms, 1 bedrooms, $99K. Herbe Vista, about $119K. Studio penthouse unit inside Vista Cana. You have Larimar downtown. We just talked about a project that's $119,000 for a 1 bedroom. So you have a few options. So let me know, Leo Ramirez, what size unit did you have, and if you're looking at another location. Let's see here. Ariam Kelly, Cruise on Land will not give you your money back. Oh, wow. Really? Wow, that's crazy. I canceled before anything. I saw the contract. I had a studio penthouse. Okay, I did remember the studio penthouse. Okay, I thought that's what it was. Trying to remember off the top of my head, but I guessed the right one. I thought that was the one. Yeah, 89,000 or whatever it was. Good for you. Because again, you're locked in. I just don't see how that's you're totally locked. So anyhow, now we got something here that Miracle Bro sent me. It's alarming. He said there's an article. Scammer Michael Third. Oh, yeah, I know about this OneCoin thing, but it's one of these things. I'm not going to go by that. I don't consider him a scammer myself. He's been on here before actually, and we're going to find out shortly, because I would hate for that, because they're involved with Miracle Cash and More. I dropped part 1, part 2, part 3 videos over this past week, and the owner of Miracle Cash and More, they're opening up they were at the store in Cyprus that just opened. When he did part 3, they're standing in the store, and they're standing in the store when they're doing part 1 and 2 in one of their little office spaces. It's going to be an office space. So they're doing one hell of a scam by having the owner of Miracle Cash and More and these guys preparing everything and getting it done. So whatever happened with this OneCoin thing 4, 5, 6 years ago, I don't know nothing about, but at least the guy is out here doing this new thing. So yeah, I know about that. I've seen that before. So I had questions initially before I got involved, and that's why I wanted Micah to come on and do the live stream with us that time, because I wanted to hear what he had to say, not about that, but about the Boogie Gopher Club NFT and what's going on. So we're going to find out here. Hopefully everything's going to go according to plan. But as you know, with anything that you depart with your money, it's, well, do your own due diligence. It's money that you can lose. That's all we can say. There's no way that we can predict what's going to happen, but they're moving in the right direction. Stores are opening. The owner of the company acknowledges that Boogie Gopher Club is a thing. They're going to create a website that matches up and links with Miracle Cash and More stores. So we're going to actually have on-demand numbers, how much is coming from each store and the profits and everything that's going on. So if that actually happens, then we're all going to be in the money and we're going to be doing pretty good. So hopefully that's what you're referring to. Yeah. Speaking of that, Torah Hand in Handcuffs, it shocked me. Yeah, they had some gambling thing, I think it was. Yeah, that's from like 3 years ago. But clearly the dude's not locked up, right? So it is what it is. There's all kind of stuff that can happen. And especially when you're in the gaming industry, gambling industry, doing anything like that, jurisdictions change, laws change. So you could get hemmed up, but he's not in jail. And whatever happened, he's out here creating Miracle Cash and more. They're opening up stores. They're licensed and regulated. So the question is, it's moving. So we'll see what happens. But don't be scared. A lot of people have been locked up, man. What's going on here? All right, you have no idea. I'm in the club myself, because I did something with the government, and I'll tell some people right now. Can you imagine where somebody? Okay, again, this is back in the days that if you had your vehicle repossessed, you couldn't just go down to the dealership and get another car. That was when you were blocked. All right. And if you had bad credit, like there's no way you're getting a car with the 600 credit score. So they blocked you. So I came up with the perfect plan as I'm walking upstairs to my apartment. Some people heard the story before. I'm walking upstairs to my apartment, and this guy says, "Hey, Eric, you make some money, I know. Why don't you take over payments on my car? Because if my car gets repossessed, then I can't get another car, yada, yada." I get it. I was like, man, I already got 2 cars. I don't need another car. So I'm getting ready to turn my key in the door, and I'm like, wait, what if other people need this kind of help? Actually, he just offered me, in my head, I'm like, he just offered me to take over payments on his car. I can do that if I wanted to. We have an agreement. So then I started thinking in my head, I'm like, wait a minute, this could actually work. So what do? I did a test run. I put an ad in the Auto Trader at the time, and it said, need a car. Something like, need a car, don't qualify, take over payments. Another ad said, can't make your car payments, need help, we'll take over payments. So the ad comes out. It's a 1/4-page ad in the Auto Trader. It comes out. The phone's ringing off the hook for both sides. Guys are calling me up saying, I have a Corvette. I have a whatever, a 4-door station wagon, whatever they were saying. It was all over the charts. I have a Yugo. I got a Nissan, the equivalent of a 360Z, except they were 2 Series Zs then. People are calling up with all kind of vehicles. They overpaid. They went to go see the off-brand guys. Go see Cal, and all these off-brand guys. They had contracts. You would not believe these contracts people would bring in. 27% interest rates for a car loan. 20% interest rates for car loans. 18% interest rates for car loans. So needless to say, they paid for 1 or 2 years. They they got rid of the appreciation part. Luckily, the person taking over now still had the same payment 2 years later. That's all his payment was going to be. But this person comes in, gives up $1,000, $2,000. Everybody wins. My company would back if somebody didn't make their payment, my company backs the payment. So it's a backstop. And we always made them pay like a week to 10 days before the actual due date. So then if they didn't hit their due date, then we'd get a call and they'd say, hey, Eric, we didn't get a payment. So then that way we know we got basically like 2 weeks, 3 weeks in some cases to get either repossess the vehicle, or we get the person to make a payment or arrangement or whatever to make sure we're good. And so now all of a sudden, one day I'm sitting at my office and these guys come up there, and literally they're looking like biker dudes, not like business guys. They're just, short, long sleeves, short sleeves, tattoos, and things like this. They literally say, Chrysler sent us. They told us, you got to stop doing your business. I was like, what? What did you say? And they were like looking all like they're going to do something. I won't get into what actually occurred after that, but needless to say, they left the office. And so I'm sitting there like, that's weird. And then I realized, bingo, why did they send these guys? And I'm thinking, okay, now after things happen, I find out I was hitting them up because part of their money-making schemes is repossessing vehicles, then charging the people for the cost of their loan. Remember, their loan is paper. Then they go out and resell the car. So they get money back. So there's an ecosystem. So they were losing billions of dollars. They went down and changed the laws in the state of California. DMV investigators come to my office and start talking to me about some other company's cars. So people started mimicking what I was doing. So they lost these cars, or basically they were doing illegal activity, not even under official lawyer contracts. And they were taking people's money and then not sending it to the lien holder. In my case, we don't touch any of that. They just send it directly to the previous owner. So then the previous owner can send in his payment. So then that way he can also tell me if he didn't receive the payment. So we had a different ecosystem. So they come asking me about these guys' cars. And I'm like, why are you asking me about their cars? I don't do business like them. In fact, they wanted to be partners with me. So I didn't want to be partners with them because they told me they collect the money. You could be collecting like $20, $30, $40,000. Who wants to handle that? I'm not going to chase down that kind of money. I don't want it. I said, that's a red flag. I told him at the time, I said, I wouldn't do that. Especially when you have multiple partners. Somebody might take $5,000, $6,000 that's supposed to go towards payments and not pay it. And sure enough, that's what happened. So anyhow, they're at my office. A year goes by. I'm throwing a party at a club. Detectives come up to this place and says, hey, Eric, we got to talk to you about some traffic ticket. I'm like, traffic ticket to Saturday night? What are you talking about? So now I got to go through court proceedings for something that they created out of thin air from a year earlier. And luckily, the judge goes, hey, I thought you guys said the DMV, why'd you guys let this guy operate business for another year and a half if he was doing something wrong? He goes, no. You guys got to go out in the hall and talk. This ain't going to wash in my court. You guys are trying to do something to him. So you never know what's going to happen. That's all I'm going to say. All right. I have good faith in the company, though. Business model looks solid. Exactly, Miracle Bro. That's all you can count on. Things happen in life. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people right now. There's guys that have crypto businesses that are in trouble with the law. Let's call it what it is. There's people, when I used to play poker and online poker, and the United States banned online poker in 2008, was it, or 2009? All of a sudden, they're looking for people that had anything to do with online poker rooms. Not that they were doing anything illegal. There wasn't even any laws. This is the kind of stuff that goes on in America. You might as well call it Gitmo. Just like in Cuba, you're being held and you're being under investigations, in trouble with the law, and they're sitting there going, well, we'll figure something out. That's what goes on in America, especially when it comes to the almighty dollar. All right, so let's call it what it is. Things happen when you start taking money out of the pockets of somebody because they didn't know that there was a loophole. And oh, by the way, because of that situation, they changed insurance laws and they changed laws about taking over payments on cars. So even though people are still doing it, eventually you're gonna be in a situation because there's laws on the books in almost every state because of it. Because Nevada, New Mexico, California, Oregon, all these states, because I was doing I was gonna have dealerships. So all of a sudden, all these guys got together, all the car dealer or the Chevy, Chrysler, Chevy, all these guys. They went to the state of California and changed the laws, spent $20 million to pay the legislature to change the laws where you can't do subleasing in California. All right. And then they got the other guys in Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico to also change their laws because they were losing billions of dollars annually. Billions. So just letting you guys know. So anything can happen unless you're there and you can talk to these guys. As long as the guy's not out here, like he's been saying, I'm going to open stores and then they don't open stores. That's a problem. If they're doing some things that's not like going in a direction, then you kind of think, okay, they're doing something nefarious again. But in this case, these guys I don't see anything shady or anything going on. They're actually progressing along with everything they said. So just so you guys know, that's how it goes. So again, you just never know what the deal is. You never know. And in my experience, the government is generally the ones that's after people. So again, people think you're being what do you call it? Paranoid. I'm going to tell you guys what you guys think and what you guys don't know is blissfully thinking everything is what it is. It's not what everything appears to be. I remember, I'll give you guys stories. Let's keep going. I'll give you stories. I'm sitting on my phone. I'm staying in my condo. I'm not doing the car thing. I'm just buying real estate straight up, just straight up what people do. And one day I'm on my phone talking to one of my friends. It's like 9, 10 at night. Back then, even though we had cell phones, but it's not like you're on the phone because it was $2 a minute. So you're going to use the house phone. I'm on my phone. We're talking, and we're talking about nothing because I never did illegal activities. So we're just talking like, where you going tonight? What about this club? What about this? What about that? Some business stuff, nothing crazy. So we're sitting there talking. Next thing I hear is like this clicking. And I was like, did you hear a click or something? He's like, yeah, I heard a click. I was like, what the hell's going on? I was like, okay, I guess the phone's tapped, but it's not like you're doing illegal activity or anything. So I just mind my own business. But all the time, there was always like you hear these clicks for like a couple years. So then you got to get used to it, right? But then you're not doing anything. So you're like, oh, well, even if they're listening, so what? So all these little things come back when you start thinking, and it's like, wait a minute, who are these people? What are they listening for? Why are they doing it? And then when there's something anomaly that comes along, you're like, oh, a year or 2 or 3 later, you're like, okay, these guys, they're just trying to stop you from being able to do things that ordinary citizens would never even think of. And you figured out a way to do it. And then the problem is you're taking money out of the pockets of the rich and powerful. Now all of a sudden they're like trying to squash you. So again, this is what happens when you come up with new things like this case right here with Miracle Cashy Moore. They're not trying to squash him because he's not in the United States. He's in Europe where they're allowed to do crypto. They're licensed and regulated, so nobody can touch them. But if they tried to do the same operation in the United States, then they would try and do something to them, or in a jurisdiction that you're not licensed and regulated yet or fully vetted or whatever they want to do. So just keep all these in mind. Don't let anything deter you. You got to go by your own due diligence, and you have to go by it's trust when you're making any investments into anything. So like I said, that's all it ever is. Even the United States government, banks, and everything else let people down. Let's call it what it is. All right. But they don't arrest those people, right? Who went to jail for the banking crisis in 2008 and 9? One person? Really? 2 people? Really? Crazy. So just keep all that in mind. And they were the ones actually doing the dirty stuff. They weren't the ones trying to save anybody. They were the ones taking everything and getting all the bailout money. So again, I won't get into any more of this, but again, I feel no love for any government agencies, police agencies, or nothing, because all these guys, again, they plant evidence, they lie in court, they do all kind of stuff that ordinary citizens, unless you're just getting traffic tickets or something crazy, you guys have no clue about. And you get to walk around like with blinders on, being like, oh, yeah, we're all good. We're all safe. No, it's not like that. There's so much stuff going on that you guys have no clue. And corruption that people take as ordinary, it's ridiculous. You can have straight up recordings, and these guys will get on the stand and still sit there and lie with a straight face and be like, no. And then your attorney have to get up there and be like, here's a tape of you guys talking. You just straight up lied. And what happens? Nothing. It's incredible. So this is the thing. They alter tapes. They alter recordings. They do all kind of crazy stuff to frame people. You guys have no idea. It's bad out here, especially when you're a mover and shaker and you're the wrong mover and shaker. All right. So just keep that in mind. Don't give up. Always do the right thing. Stay on the straight and narrow. But again, keep moving. All right. Keep moving. So let's get out of here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Miracle Bro, for bringing that up. Of course, I knew about it, but I didn't think it was worth anything because these guys already are opening stores. They're already dealing with laws that they're helping create on the island of Cyprus and in Turkey for crypto is what Hakan's doing. There's all kind of stuff he's involved with. So I was like, okay, whatever happened. I don't really know, but I do know sometimes agencies, governments, people are after you for no freaking reason. And that's how it works. All right. So That's all I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to wrap it up tonight. And with all that said, make sure you stay safe this weekend. I love you very much. I appreciate you being here for the full 3.5, almost 4 hours. And with all that said, make sure you keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.